Chapter 1276. Serene, leave this insect demon to me. Help me take care of the Zhou clan. Looking at the gold-devouring beetles that covered the void like a black cloud, Yi Qinfeng's handsome face did not show any fear. Although the gold-devouring beetles ate everything and had strong destructive power, Yi Qinfeng's physical body was comparable to a supreme Grey Dao tool. Moreover, he had obtained a lower-grade Sage artifact battle suit from the Sword Emperor. He was not afraid of the gold-devouring beetles at all. Can you do it yourself? Yin Zhuoyao asked worriedly. Don't worry, Serene. I will kill him like killing a dog. Yi Qinfeng smiled proudly and said, Kid, you have guts. Do you know that even the people from the Thunder Clan do not dare to talk to me like this? The insect demon's deep eyes shot out dense killing intent as he said coldly. That is because the people from the Thunder Clan do not want to bicker with you. If the Thunder Clan really wants to kill you, do you think you have a chance to live in this world? Yi Qinfeng put his hands behind his back and said tit for tat. You are so stubborn. Wait until I capture you and let the gold-devouring beetles bite your body. Let's see if you can still be stubborn then. As he spoke, the insect demon gave a mental command. The densely packed gold-devouring beetles grinded their razor-sharp teeth and attacked Yi Qinfeng like a moving black cloud. Yi Qinfeng, these gold-devouring beetles are extremely terrifying. Quickly defend yourself. Yin Zhuoyao's expression changed slightly when the gold-devouring beetles covered the sky. He immediately put on an ancient Dao artifact battle suit to protect his entire body and reminded loudly. Sky-incinerating sacred flame Yi Qinfeng did not put on the sacred flame. Instead, he summoned the sky-incinerating sacred flame and enveloped his entire body. It lit up the night sky at dawn. The temperature of the entire space also rose sharply at this moment. Under the melting of the sky-incinerating sacred flame, a large number of gold-devouring beetles turned into ashes before they could get close to Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng borrowed the power of the sky-incinerating sacred flame and tore through the space-devouring beetles like a meteor. He attacked the insect demon with irresistible force. Sacred fire, you actually subdued a sacred fire. Apart from possessing terrifying offensive power, the metal-devouring beetles were also as tough as iron. However, they instantly melted when they encountered the sky-burning sacred flame. This made the insect demon suspect that the flame Yi Qinfeng had summoned was the most powerful flame in the central world, the sacred flame. Sacred fire. How many trump cards does Yi Qinfeng have? Yin Zhuoyao was also stunned by the scene in front of him. He was shocked by Yi Qinfeng's methods. Yi Qinfeng's 5 insight acupoints erupted with power, activating the power of the dead spirit bead. He punched out at the insect demon, whose face had changed slightly. The punch pierced through the air, aiming for the insect demon's chest. Boom! The insect demon's pupil shrank. The Dao energy in his body burst forth and quickly condensed into a dark green handprint. It was entwined with the power of the will of the Dao, and it smashed Yi Qinfeng's fist light with astonishing power. Dragon Spine's sacred sword after the insect demon's attack was broken. Yi Qinfeng did not panic. The Dragon Spine sacred sword flew out of his body under the control of his mind. It drew a beautiful arc in the air and split the dark green handprint. Sacred sword, I didn't expect you to have so many treasures on you. Looking at the Dragon Spine sacred sword that was 6 feet and 6 inches long and emitted a sharp light. The Dao patterns on the sword body were like the spine of a true dragon. The insect demon's eyes burst out with greed. Serene, please go and protect the Zhou family. When Yi Qinfeng and the insect demon were facing each other in the air, he once again transmitted a message to Yin Zhuoyao. Okay, be careful. Yin Zhuoyao took a deep look at Yi Qinfeng, who was shrouded in the sky-burning sacred flame. He nodded and quickly returned to the Zhou family's mansion. He summoned a large number of array flags and enveloped the Zhou family's mansion in case Yi Qinfeng and the insect demon's fierce battle caused too much destruction and directly destroyed the Zhou family. Yi Qinfeng, don't think that you can fight me just because you have a few treasures. In this world, treasures are just external objects. Strength is the most important. The insect demon put away his contempt and called back the gold-devouring beetles that were constantly being burned to death by the sky-burning sacred flame. He condensed the life and death Tao diagram, thunder Tao diagram, and wind Tao diagram. He was ready to kill Yi Chunfeng with all his strength and seize the treasures on him. Chi, an ancient treasure-rank spear, appeared in the insect demon's hand. He stabbed out with his spear, and the diagram of the three great Daos instantly released boundless Tao runes that fused into the tip of the spear. The terrifying attack left behind a deep spear mark in the void. It was as if a black dragon had appeared, swaying its body as it stabbed towards Yi Chunfeng's chest. The three Tao diagrams appeared. When the insect demon's spear stabbed towards him, Yi Chunfeng summoned the three Tao diagrams and controlled the bronze sword soul that was emitting a faint silver light to merge into the dragon spine sacred sword. He stabbed out a sword light to meet the attack. The black spear and the dragon spine sacred sword collided. A terrifying collision force burst out in the void. Dense water ripples appeared in the entire space and spread out in all directions. The momentum was terrifying. PFFF. After taking the insect demon's spear head-on, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt a terrifying force of death pass through the dragon spine sacred sword and enter his body. It injured all the meridians in his body. A mouthful of blood uncontrollably spurted out from his mouth. The insect demon wasn't happy that his spear had injured Yi Chunfeng. Instead, he was shocked. This was because he knew the power of this spear. Even Nirvana couldn't block it. However, Yi Chunfeng, who was a level 5 combat beast emperor, was only lightly injured. Moreover, Yi Chunfeng's comprehension of Tao intent was beyond his imagination. Let's see how many of my spear attacks you can block. A huge insect king's shadow appeared on the insect demon's body. When he merged with the insect king's shadow, his tall and straight body underwent a transformation. A pair of black insect wings appeared on his body. His skin, that was more delicate than a woman's, was covered with a black carapace. Two extremely sharp, poisonous thorns drilled out of his arms. Dragon bloodline, divine bloodline, ignite. The moment the insect demon transformed into his final form, Yi Chunfeng ignited his dragon bloodline and divine bloodline. His body swelled up, and at the same time, a thick layer of dragon scales covered the surface of his skin, increasing his defense to the greatest extent. After igniting the two bloodlines, Yi Chunfeng's strength increased exponentially. He almost reached the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor. When he merged with the evil treasure, the demonic blood diagram, his strength broke through the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor. He possessed the strength of a 1-star Tao saint. Feeling Yi Chunfeng's strength increasing steadily, the insect demon looked at his half-human, half-dragon body that was as red as blood. The shock on the insect demon's face became even more intense. Die for me. The insect demon's pupil shrunk. Its entire body fused with the black spear and continuously launched fatal attacks at Yi Chunfeng. The power of the spear was unimaginably fierce. Every thrust of the spear was like a wave in the sea, overlapping one another. After dozens of thrusts, the entire space seemed to have turned into a surging sea. The heavens and earth changed color, as if it wanted to swallow Yi Chunfeng and tear him apart in the sea of spears. True dragon transformation facing wave after wave of spear light. Yi Chunfeng immediately used the divine ability of the dragon clan's branch. His entire body continued to grow. Under everyone's shocked gaze, he turned into a blood dragon. He let out a terrifying sound and charged straight into the sea of spears. Dragon. Could this Yi Chunfeng be a member of the dragon clan? Yin Juyao opened his eyes wide. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who had turned into a blood dragon and was tearing apart the insect demon's attacks, he guessed Yi Chunfeng's identity. The supreme elder of the dragon clan? Didn't they say that the dragon clan was a super race in the Qingyun realm? How could he appear in our space? In Ruashi gasped. Whether this Yi Chunfeng was a member of the dragon clan or not, it still needed to be investigated. But since he could transform into a true dragon, It was enough to show that he was related to the dragon clan. Jiao took a deep breath and said, maybe he can really defeat the insect demon. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1277. Boom, boom, boom. A series of uncontrollable explosions resounded in the void. Yi Chunfeng and the insect demon fiercely attacked, causing unimaginable destructive power. Yi Chunfeng used the true dragon transformation. Although the instantaneous attack power was extremely terrifying and was enough to kill Nirvana, the strength of the insect demon was too terrifying. After dozens of breaths, Yi Chunfeng's true dragon transformation was broken. Go to hell. The moment the insect demon forcefully broke the true dragon transformation, it took a deep breath and thrust its spear at Yi Chunfeng's chest, wanting to pierce through his chest in one shot. Golden Dragon Robe. Defense at the critical moment. Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood, summoned the Golden Dragon Robe, a low-grade sacred artifact. With the defense of the Golden Dragon Robe, he resisted the black spear light with an irresistible force. Chi-Chi flames lit up on the surface of the Golden Dragon Robe. Yi Chunfeng was sent flying by the insect demon spear, but the Golden Dragon Robe helped him neutralize most of the attack. In addition, Yi Chunfeng's physical defense had reached the level of a quasi-sacred artifact. The insect demon spear only slightly injured Yi Chunfeng. Not even a drop of blood flowed out. What a terrifying defense. The battle armor worn by Yi Chunfeng was probably a saint robe. Seeing Yi Chunfeng resist the insect demon's spear attack and only be slightly injured, Yin Jiuyao and the others were completely relieved. With the saint robe, Yi Chunfeng was basically in an invincible position. In addition, Yi Chunfeng subdued the sky-burning sacred fire to kill the metal-devouring beetles. It could be said that it was very difficult for the insect demon to kill Yi Chunfeng. Who the hell are you? How do you have so many treasures? Experiencing Yi Chunfeng's amazing defensive power, the insect demon couldn't help showing a dignified expression and asked in a low voice, "A dead man doesn't need to know my identity." With that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the ancient map fragment that he had repaired and restricted the space within a few miles so that the outside world couldn't see the situation between him and the insect demon. Although your defense is amazing, you are still far from being able to kill me with your strength. The insect demon snorted and said disdainfully, "It's true that I can't kill you alone, but didn't anyone tell you that I have help?" Yi Chunfeng smiled and summoned the sword puppet, the Marquis of Qianming, and the Chaos Divine Beast. Yes, a space treasure. Seeing the sudden appearance of the sword puppet and the others, the smile on the insect demon's face froze. He finally understood why Yi Chunfeng, a level 5 beast emperor, could kill the 3 saints of true thunder and so many cultivators of the thunder domain. He wasn't fighting alone. He had a helper, and his helper's strength was terrifying. Make a quick decision at Yi Chunfeng's command. He summoned 81 Qianquan giant swords. Combat formed. The divine beast of chaos roared and instantly transformed into his strongest combat form. His strength climbed steadily and soon broke through 200 million pounds. Holding the heavy bronze coffin, he smashed it toward the insect demon as if he was swinging a towering mountain. Boom! The insect demon's spear light collided with the ancient bronze coffin and immediately exploded with a shocking force in midair. The ancient bronze coffin was filled with 200 million pounds of strength and forcefully bent the ancient black spear in the insect demon's hand. The terrifying strength passed through the crescent-shaped spear and into the insect demon's arm, shattering the black shell that covered his arm and forcing him back. 3 heads, 6 arms. When the insect demon was forced back by the divine beast of chaos, the Marquis of Qianming appeared behind him and transformed into his ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms. He held 6 treasures and attacked the insect demon's body with all his strength. When the insect demon was resisting the marquis of Qian Ming's tide-like attacks, the indestructible sword puppet closed in on him and ignored his fierce counterattacks. It held the black dragon sacred sword and slashed at the insect demon's body, sending him flying. It broke through his defense and caused a large amount of blood to spurt out. Qianquan's sword formation, Qianquan's strike, Chanfeng didn't give him a chance to catch his breath. He controlled the 81 Qianquan swords to fuse together and slash down. A terrifying sword mark tore through layers of space and slashed at the insect demon's head. Bang! After taking on the Qianquan sword formation head-on, the insect demon was sent flying again. His body that had lost control crashed into the restriction wall and was heavily injured. Gold-devouring Bugwen Yiqinfeng and the other three attacked together. The insect demon, with blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth, summoned his trump card and attacked the Marquis of Qian Ming and the others. He wanted to devour them alive. Wrath of divine punishment, the gold-devouring bug swarmed over from all directions. The sky-burning sacred fire, purple beginnings sacred thunder, and dual extreme ancient heavenly water gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body and quickly gathered above his head. It was like a meteor that was filled with destructive power as it blasted into the gold-devouring bug swarm. The terrifying explosive power instantly killed thousands of gold-devouring bugs, causing the insect demon's heart to ache. When the wrath of divine punishment's power became more and more intense, the sword puppet tore through the center of the explosion and approached the insect demon. It continuously launched fatal attacks at him and forced him to retreat. Today, I will let you see my true trump card. His attacks were completely restrained, so the insect demon used his final trump card. He summoned an ancient disc that was engraved with a large number of insect patterns and a gold-devouring bug that was the size of a buffalo with a pair of black wings and sharp teeth. Although the gold-devouring bug had yet to break through to the level of Saint Beast, its attack power was comparable to a Saint Beast's. In addition, it could fuse with a large number of gold-devouring bugs to increase its strength. It was very terrifying. The 10,000 bug plate that the insect demon summoned was also a quasi-saint treasure that had been refined for tens of thousands of years. It could increase the 10,000 bug plate's attack power by fusing with the gold-devouring bugs. In order to kill Yi Qinfeng and take his treasures, the insect demon decided to sacrifice the gold-devouring bugs at all costs. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng and the others. Chaos Divine Beast, I'll leave that big bug to you. Finish it quickly. Yi Qinfeng glanced at the gold-devouring bug that was constantly fusing with the gold-devouring bugs and instructed him. All right. The Chaos Divine Beast nodded. He raised the bronze coffin high up and blasted it at the gold-devouring bug, fighting it fiercely in the air. Buzz, buzz, buzz faced with the Chaos Divine Beast's ferocious attack. The gold-devouring bug opened its mouth full of teeth and spat out a large number of gold-devouring bugs. They tore at the Chaos Divine Beast's strong body and devoured its flesh. Chaotic 5 elements light while the Chaos Divine Beast was being devoured by the gold-devouring bugs. The Chaos 5 elements light shot out from its body. It was like a dazzling sun, constantly penetrating the gold-devouring bugs' bodies that were as hard as iron and killing them. Battle formed while the Chaos Divine Beast was crazily slaughtering the gold-devouring bugs. The gold-devouring bug transformed into her battle form. She turned into an ugly but sexy woman with a bone staff in her hand and fought fiercely with the Chaos Divine Beast. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng, the sword puppet, and the Marquis of Qian Ming formed a triangle and surrounded the insect demon, attacking it together. 10,000 bug plate, destroy. With a thought from the insect demon, the 3 Dao diagrams floating above its head disappeared into the 10,000 bug plate. A large number of bug-like Dao patterns were projected from the 10,000 bug plate and attacked Yi Qinfeng's group. It forced Yi Qinfeng and the Marquis of Qian Ming to retreat and block the sword puppet's attack. After forcing Yi Qinfeng's group back, the insect demon immediately attacked with the 10,000 bug plate. It was like a barbarian bug from the apocalypse, launching a fatal attack at Yi Qinfeng. It wanted to break through his defense and heavily injure him. 9 Flood Dragon Diagram Trap. At the critical moment, instead of retreating, Yi Chunfeng advanced and summoned the 9 Serpent Diagram. He controlled the 9 Serpent Diagram to transform it into a black hole, directly swallowing one of the insect demon's trump cards, the 10,000 insect plate, into the 9 Serpent Diagram. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1278. Sacred Treasure. You have a sacred treasure. Yi Chunfeng had 2 sacred treasures, which was already beyond the insect demon's expectations. However, he didn't expect that Yi Chunfeng not only had a sacred treasure, but also a sacred treasure that was at the pinnacle of the Duhan continent. He could directly suppress the 10,000 bug plate. Insect demon, you really shouldn't have provoked me. Did you know that the Thunder Clan didn't even take revenge on me when you cut off Lei Chuan Wang's legs? Yi Chunfeng said coldly. As he spoke, he spat a mouthful of blood essence into the 9 Flood Dragon Diagram and controlled the 4 Dao diagrams to release powerful Dao patterns into the 9 Flood Dragon Diagram. He condensed 9 Flood Dragon spirits to suppress the 10,000 bug plate. What? Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, the insect demon's heart was in turmoil, and his expression became even more solemn. With his strength, the Thunder Clan didn't dare to take revenge on him. If Yi Chunfeng really had the strength to make the Thunder Clan apprehensive, then he would undoubtedly be courting death by provoking Yi Chunfeng. At this moment, he felt some regret. He regretted coming to kill Yi Chunfeng without investigating thoroughly. In his heart, he hated Nangong Zheng even more. If it weren't for him, he wouldn't have provoked such a great enemy for no reason. Vajra Bronze Bull, just as the insect demon was about to retreat, Marquis Qian Ming summoned the Vajra Bronze Bull and controlled it to constantly grow. It crushed the chaotic space and crashed towards the insect demon. Thunder Flood Dragon Claw, the Vajra Bronze Bull, fiercely crashed with a dazzling golden light. The insect demon summoned a second quasi-sacred treasure and controlled a dragon-like claw that flickered with lightning to grab the Vajra Bronze Bull, resisting the Vajra Bronze Bull's fierce attack. Soul Fall Bellas, the 2 quasi-sacred treasures, fiercely clashed in midair. The Soul Fall Bell appeared on Yi Chunfeng's body. As Yi Chunfeng unleashed 200 million gene of strength, he held the Dragon Spine's sacred sword and struck the Soulfall Bell. An unimaginable bell sound rang out, twisting the void like a surging tide and sweeping towards the insect demon, whose expression changed slightly. The insect demon didn't panic when he was attacked by the Soulfall Bell. He unleashed his strength and Dao insight to the limit as he attacked ferociously with the black spear in his hand. He constantly tore apart the Soulfall Bell as he approached Yi Chunfeng. Suddenly, the chaotic void trembled as the sword puppet merged with the black dragon holy sword. Like a crescent moon that had fallen to the mortal world, it slashed towards the insect demon. Boom! The sword spirit puppet slashed at the ancient spear that the insect demon raised high in the air. The rapidly burning energy in its body erupted like a volcano and slammed into the insect demon's body, shattering its defenses and slamming it into the spatial wall of the ancient map fragment. Sword step. Yi Chunfeng's feet flashed, and the sword diagram appeared. He took a step forward, and his speed increased by 6 times. He instantly appeared beside the insect demon, whose arms were bleeding profusely, and continued to attack with the Dragon Spine's sacred sword. Exploding poison bugs die. As Yi Chunfeng approached, 6 fingernail-sized, dark green, strangely shaped bugs emerged from the insect demon's bloody body. They flew towards Yi Chunfeng. When the 6 exploding poison bugs came into contact with Yi Chunfeng's surging soul force, they all exploded, releasing a dark green poison mist. They swallowed Yi Chunfeng, trying to poison him to death. Sacred Burning Flame, incinerate. Being corroded by the dense poison mist, the sacred burning flame surged out of Yi Qinfeng's body again. It burned the poison mist and quickly melted it. Die, heart-drilling hand. Seizing the opportunity, when Yi Qinfeng burned the poison mist, the heavily injured insect demon launched a fatal attack at Yi Qinfeng. He summoned the quasi-saint treasure Thunder Flood Dragon Claw back and tore through space. He clawed at Yi Qinfeng's chest, trying to crush his heart. You want to kill me? You're still far from it. The Chaos Divine would broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body. It shone with five-colored light and swayed its five-colored crown. It lashed at the Thunder Flood Dragon Claw and sent it flying. Gu Jianga, Heart of the Sword Bright Moon. The Chaotic Divine would broke the insect demon's fatal attack. Yi Qinfeng used his ultimate move at close range. The mountain-like sword light was branded with the imprint of the Great Way. It was like a bright moon shining high up in the sky, venting an endless pressure of the way. It slashed viciously onto the insect demon's body and sent him flying again. Buzz. When the insect demon lost control and crashed into the hard barrier, the sword puppet continued to slash at him with the Black Dragon Sacred Sword. It didn't give the insect demon a chance to breathe. It used all its strength to suppress his attacks and aggravate his injuries. Ao, just as the insect demon was being suppressed by Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet, the metal-devouring motherbug was hit by the ancient bronze coffin. It let out a painful roar and ruthlessly crashed into the space barrier. A large amount of blood flowed out from its cracked body. Thunder Flood Dragon Claw, breaking barrier. Looking at the situation today, the insect demon was scared. He had a feeling that if he didn't break out of the encirclement, he would very likely die here. Relying on his absolute strength, while he withstood the attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the Sword Spirit Puppet, he controlled the Thunder Flood Dragon Claw to attack the restriction on the ancient map fragment. Under the full attack of the Thunder Flood Dragon Claw, a large number of cracks appeared on the ancient map fragment. However, the ancient map fragment was very mysterious. It would take some time for the Thunder Flood Dragon Claw to completely shatter it. Insect Demon, don't waste your strength. Accept your fate. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng ignited his Empyrean bloodline and channeled the power of the heavens into his body. He transformed into his strongest three-headed, six-armed ultimate form. His 6 arms moved at the same time as he used the 3 saint skills of the Green Sky Secret Art. The Blue Sky Seal, the Heavenly Tao Disc, and the Desolate Furnace of Heaven to attack the insect demon, not giving him a chance to escape. Ao, the metal-devouring mother bug let out another painful howl. Under the ferocious attacks of the Chaos Divine Beast, the heavily injured metal-devouring mother bug couldn't withstand the consumption of its battle form and returned to its original form. Chaos Mountain, the Chaos Divine Beast, also transformed into its original form at this time. Like a towering mountain, it ruthlessly pressed down on the metal-devouring mother bug's body, suppressing it from mid-air to the hard space barrier. More than 200 million gene of strength surged into its body like a tide, destroying its body and cutting off its life force. In the end, under the ferocious attacks of the Chaos Divine Tree, the metal-devouring mother bug's body was smashed into pieces by the Chaos Divine Beast. The metal-devouring mother bug, parasitized in its body, also turned into ashes, and its most precious monster core was swallowed by the Chaos Divine Beast in one gulp. Metal-devouring bugs break the barrier. Out of the corner of his eye, the insect demon found that the metal-devouring mother bug was killed by the Chaos Divine Beast. The insect demon's heart fell to the bottom. He summoned the metal-devouring bugs at all costs to tear apart the cracked space barrier, wanting to leave this dangerous place as soon as possible. Grand Elder, do you think Yi Qinfeng could defeat the insect demon? At this time, the sky was getting brighter and brighter. Looking at the continuous cracks in the void, In Ruashi and others were worried about Yi Qinfeng. Once Yi Qinfeng was killed, the insect demon would never let them go. It's hard to say. In Zhuyao shook his head and said with a solemn face, "The insect demon's strength is unfathomable, and the metal-devouring bugs he raises are extremely terrifying. It's very difficult to defeat him head-on." But Yi Feng has a lot of means. I think even if he can't defeat the insect demon can't kill him. As he spoke, a big hole appeared in the cracked space barrier. The next moment, a scene that shocked everyone appeared. The insect demon, covered in blood, flew out of the broken barrier, turned into a bloody light, and fled out of Izhou City. Mobile reading home, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1279. The insect demon escaped. He actually escaped. Witnessing the scene of the insect demon escaping in embarrassment, Yin Zhuyao and the others widened their eyes, unable to believe what they saw. They couldn't believe that the insect demon, one of the 3 most ferocious people in the Thunder region, actually escaped like a stray dog. Insect demon, you can't escape today. I will kill you. Yi Chunfeng summoned the 3 helpers back to the universe realm, summoned the quasi-holy treasure golden wing feather, turned into a dazzling golden light, and chased after the insect demon who was escaping at a very fast speed. This Yi Chunfeng was a bit too ferocious. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's incomparably arrogant voice, Yin Zhuyao's old face showed a look of horror. He couldn't imagine what kind of means Yi Chunfeng used to seriously injure the insect demon, and what kind of confidence did he have to kill him. It should be known that the Thunder Clan sent many masters, but they couldn't kill the insect demon. Yi Chunfeng, if you're willing to let me go, I can give you benefits that you can't imagine. The insect demon used the blood escape to fly very fast, but he couldn't get rid of Yi Chunfeng, who had the golden wing feather. As time went by, Yi Chunfeng was getting closer and closer to him, and the destructive purple beginning holy thunder kept bombarding his body, aggravating his injuries. He had no choice but to lower his noble head and speak softly. No need to go through so much trouble after killing you. Everything on you will be mine. Yi Chunfeng was unmoved and continued to fan the golden wing feather, closing the distance between him and the insect demon, releasing the purple beginning holy thunder to destroy his body. Yi Chunfeng, don't you want to know who hired me to kill you? If you kill me, you will never know who the real murderer is. After being continuously attacked by the purple beginning holy thunder, the insect demon's injuries continued to worsen. He had no choice but to think of a way to tempt Yi Chunfeng, begging him to let him go. What? Do you think it's hard to guess who hired you to kill me? Yi Chunfeng sneered. I just seriously injured Nangong Su, and you came. Do you think this is a coincidence? Yi Chunfeng, do you really want to fight me to death? Let me tell you, if you push me too far, I will die with you. Facing Yi Chunfeng, the insect demon had a feeling that his hands and feet were tied. If he had another chance to choose, he would never fight with Yi Chunfeng for 100 million top-grade soul crystals. Insect demon, you think too highly of yourself. Yi Chunfeng was unmoved. He replied tyrannically, you will definitely die today. I will give your head to the Nangong clan. I will let them know the consequences of going against me. Dizzying Yi Chunfeng used the golden wing's flying feather to close the distance between them. The 3-star Dao Saint Realm soul exploded, forming a terrifying dizzying power that fiercely blasted into the insect demon's soul sea, causing his soul to tremble and a sense of dizziness to appear in his mind. Although the insect demon relied on his powerful strength to temporarily dispel the dizziness, this fleeting moment allowed Yi Chunfeng to catch up to him. He summoned the Cosmo Sword Formation and the Sword Puppet and launched a fierce attack on him. Yi Chunfeng and the insect demon fought fiercely in the air, causing a terrifying commotion that disturbed a huge city in the distance. A large number of masters flew out of the city to see what was going on. Wasn't that the insect demon? Looking at the insect demon who was covered in blood and whose attacks were being suppressed, many people recognized him and revealed a look of great shock. The insect demon was the symbol of death in the Thunder territory. Except for the Thunder clan, no one dared to provoke him. But now, the insect demon was in a life and death crisis, shocking the cultivators hiding in the distance. Heavens, where did those two people come from? Did the Thunder Clan send people to hunt down the insect demon again? No, those two people are not from our Thunder Clan. A 6th-level war beast emperor with a high status in the Thunder Clan looked at Yi Chunfeng and the sword puppet from afar and said while shaking his head. The cultivators who were not from the Thunder Clan sucked in a breath of cold air and said, "When did our Thunder territory give birth to such a terrifying master?" Cosmos Sword Formation. Cosmos Strike when the insect demon held the Thunder Flood Dragon Claw and collided with the sword puppet and lost control of his body. Yi Chunfeng controlled the 81 rapidly rotating Cosmos swords to merge together and turn them into a giant sword that slashed down. The powerful and unstoppable Cosmos sword directly smashed the seriously injured insect demon from the air to the ground, smashing a big hole in the ground. Supernatural power, tyrannical kick. The moment the insect demon fell, Yi Chunfeng stepped out in the void. More than 200 million gene of power gushed out, carrying the power to crush hell. His foot landed on the insect demon who smashed a big hole in the ground, causing him to spit out blood and his bones to shatter. Wrath of God's punishment. After the tyrant kick, Yi Chunfeng blasted out the wrath of God's punishment, bombarding the seriously injured insect demon. Boom! When the wrath of God's punishment exploded in the ground, the explosive power was earth-shattering, as if the end of the world had come. The insect demon's body defense was completely shattered, bombarding his whole body with blood and flesh, and he was on the verge of death. Life force. Burn with his life hanging by a thread. The insect demon burned his powerful life force at all costs, suppressing the injuries on his body, and continued to escape. But under Yi Chunfeng's stun technique and the sword puppet's obstruction, the insect demon was unable to break through. He could only try his best to fight Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng, if you are willing to let me go, I am willing to submit to you. The insect demon was also a genius of his generation. He had only used 10,000 years to break through to nirvana, so he still had a lot of lifespan to squander. He was unwilling to die like this, so he had no choice but to beg for mercy. Not interested, Yi Chunfeng coldly refused and continued to launch fatal attacks on him with the sword puppet. Yi Chunfeng, who is this Yi Chunfeng? Hearing the insect demons dying begging for mercy, the cultivators hiding in the distance began to discuss again. I remember who that Yi Chunfeng is. If I am not wrong, this Yi Chunfeng is the fierce man who killed the 3 true Thunder Saints and nearly 100 cultivators not long ago. So it was him. It seems that the 3 fierce men of the Thunder Field are about to change masters. All the cultivators suddenly realized, and were deeply shocked by Yi Chunfeng's terrifying strength. Insect demon, the game is over. Let me send you to hell. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 9-dragon Jade Annulus and poured the 7-fold soul force amplification of his dragon bloodline into it. He controlled the 9-dragon Jade Annulus to condense a deadly dragon and bombarded the seriously injured insect demon who was entangled with the sword puppet at close range. Boom! Under the destructive power of the deadly dragon, the insect demon's scarred body quickly shattered. Although he summoned a large number of trump cards and desperately defended, the 9-dragon Jade Annulus was a top-quality, holy artifact. It was not something he could resist in his seriously injured state. The gold-devouring beetles parasitized in his body also turned to ashes under the attack of the deadly dragon. In the end, the insect demon's body was shattered by the deadly dragon. His head, which was bleeding from his 7 orifices, was cut off by Yi Chunfeng and stored in the universe realm. One of the 3 fierce men of the Thunder Field, the insect demon who gave the Thunder Field a headache, died at the hands of Yi Chunfeng. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1280. The insect demon was dead. After the death of the 3 true Thunder Saints, another piece of shocking news broke out in the Thunder territory. The insect demon, who had been famous in the Thunder Territory for tens of thousands of years, had died outside the Southern Expedition City. The one who killed him was Yi Qinfeng, who had killed the three true Thunder Saints. For a time, Yi Qinfeng's name resounded throughout the Thunder Territory. There was almost no one in the Thunder Territory who didn't know his name. After he killed the insect demon, he replaced the insect demon and became one of the three most ferocious men of the Thunder Territory. He was as famous as Duan Chong and Green Robe. In the Nangong capital city, an angry roar suddenly came from the Nangong family's old mansion. What? The insect demon is dead. Are you sure the insect demon was killed by Yi Qinfeng? After hearing the news of the insect demon's death, Nangong Zheng couldn't hold back his anger and questioned the informant loudly. Reporting to the clan leader, many people in the Southern Expedition City saw with their own eyes that the insect demon was killed by Yi Qinfeng in front of everyone. Now, Yi Qinfeng has replaced the insect demon and become one of the three most ferocious men of the Thunder Territory. The trembling informant braced himself and reported. Where did Yi Qinfeng come from? How did he have the ability to kill the insect demon? Until now, Nangong Zheng still couldn't believe that the insect demon, who was more powerful than him, was killed by Yi Qinfeng. I don't know. Yi Qinfeng's origin has always been mysterious. No one knows his true identity. However, he was able to kill the three true Thunder Saints and the insect demon in succession. It is enough to show that he controls a powerful force. This force is so powerful that it can affect the fate of many forces in the Thunder Territory. Great Elder Nangong Zue said with a frown. Great Elder, do you think Yi Qinfeng knows that it was our Nangong family who asked the insect demon to deal with him? Nangong Zheng asked with a gloomy face. He didn't expect things to develop to this point. It was completely beyond his expectations and imagination. Sigh, I think you should have guessed it. Perhaps the insect demon betrayed us when he was on the brink of death. Nangong Zue sighed softly and said, Clan leader, for the sake of caution, I think we should make arrangements in advance to guard against Yi Qinfeng's revenge. Great Elder, what do you think about letting Qing Xue be the lobbyist? Although the Nangong family still had two Nirvana Grand Elders, we thought about how Yi Qinfeng had killed the insect demon. Nangong Zheng was worried about Yi Qinfeng's revenge. Clan leader, even if Qing Xue can convince Yi Qinfeng, it's only a delaying tactic, not a long-term solution. Unless our Nangong clan submits to him, Nangong Zue said after a moment of contemplation. Impossible, my Nangong family will not submit to anyone, Nangong Zheng said firmly. Clan leader, I have an idea. Perhaps we can use this opportunity to get rid of that Yi Qinfeng, Nangong Zue said. What is it? Nangong Zheng raised his eyebrows and asked quickly. Nangong Zue said, no matter how powerful that Yi Qinfeng is, he won't be able to fight against our two forces. As long as the Mirror Moon sect is willing to deal with him, he will die for sure. That's a good idea, Nangong Zheng nodded, a hint of viciousness in his eyes. But I still need you to talk to Qing Xue. She doesn't seem to like Jing Jiuqi of the Mirror Moon sect, Nangong Zue said. If it was before, and Qing Xue didn't want to marry, I would have let her be. But now that the future of our Nangong family is at stake, she has no choice. Nangong Zheng said without hesitation. I'll contact Jing Qian now to discuss the marriage. Clan leader, if you go looking for them now, I'm sure sect leader Jing will be able to guess our motive. So I think it's better to be straightforward. As for the bargaining chip, it's Yi Qinfeng's treasures. The Mirror Moon sect will definitely be interested in them. After we kill him, our two forces can split the treasures equally, Nangong Zue continued to suggest. All right, let's do that. After thinking about it, Nangong Zheng felt that this was the only way to deal with the threat posed by Yi Qinfeng. He made a prompt decision and personally contacted the Mirror Moon sect leader, Jing Qian. Soon, the two forces reached a consensus and decided to form an alliance through marriage to deal with Yi Qinfeng together. Knowing that she was going to marry Jing Jiuqi, Nangong Qing Xue felt as if she was struck by lightning. Her mind went blank. Nangong Qing Xue knew very well what kind of person Jing Jiuqi was. He was a wolf in human skin. The number of girls who were harmed by him numbered over 100. Not a single one of those girls had a good ending. They were either directly tortured to death by him or given to others as an exchange item. I'd rather die than marry that scum Jing Jiechi. Nangong Qingxue found Nangong Zheng and resisted. What she received was indeed Nangong Zheng's ruthless suppression. After sealing Nangong Qingshue's strength, Nangong Zheng told her clearly that this matter couldn't be changed. Her marriage with Jing Jiechi was set to take place 10 days later at the Mirror Moon sect. The Nangong family and the Mirror Moon sect were known as the second super holy lands of the Lightning Territory, second only to the Lightning Clan. The news of their marriage spread throughout the Lightning Territory like a storm, causing a huge commotion. After knowing that Nangong Qingxue was going to marry Jing Jiechi, Zhou Qianni's joy of breaking through to rank 3 combat Beast Emperor disappeared. His heart also shattered at this moment. "What's wrong, Tianni? You're not willing?" Yi Chunfeng asked indifferently as he drank a mouthful of spirit tea and looked at the pale and trembling Zhou Qianni. I'm not willing. Jing Jiechi isn't worthy of Qingxue." Zhou Qianni really liked Nangong Qingxue too much. He knew what kind of person Jing Jiechi was. Seeing his beloved woman about to jump into a heated bed made him feel as if his heart was being cut by a knife. "That's simple. 10 days later, I'll bring you to the Mirror Moon sect and propose marriage to Nangong Qingxue in front of the 2 forces." Yi Chunfeng put down the teacup in his hand and said, "No, young Master Yi. According to my Earth-Een sect's informant's report, the Nangong family's sudden marriage with the Mirror Moon sect might be targeting you. If you openly appear in front of the Mirror Moon sect, they definitely won't let you off." Yin Ruashi's expression slightly changed and reminded, "I've guessed their intentions. If I don't appear, the 2 forces will probably be very disappointed. Rather than that, why don't I give them a big gift and fight for Tianni's happiness?" Yi Chunfeng smiled and said calmly, "Young Master Yi, I wonder if you know about the Nangong family and the Mirror Moon sect? They are the second strongest forces of the Lightning Territory. Even my Earthing sect is inferior to them. If their grand elders didn't pass away, they probably have more than 6 Nirvana Almighty experts. They can definitely threaten your life." Yin Ruashi didn't want Yi Chunfeng to act recklessly, so she told him how terrifying the 2 forces were. "As long as there aren't any Nirvana, Heavenly Realm Almighty experts, I can sweep through them." Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed, and he said, "Tianni, let me ask you something. Do you dare to come with me to the Mirror Moon sect and propose marriage to Nangong Qingxue in front of everyone?" Yi Chunfeng looked at Zhou Qianni, who was clenching his fists and feeling extremely unsettled, and slowly asked, "I dare." Zhou Qianni looked gratefully at Yi Chunfeng and said in a firm tone, "Okay, 10 days later, come with me to the Mirror Moon sect. I want to see who can stop me." Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click the save button at the bottom to record this reading. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1281. The Mirror Moon sect was a superpower of the Thunder Territory. It was located at the source of a blessed land in the northern part of the Thunder Territory. It was like spring all year round, and the scenery was picturesque. Because of the upcoming marriage alliance with the Nangong family, the entire Mirror Moon sect was in a jubilant mood. Many powers of the Thunder Territory and some famous cultivators came to congratulate them. "Congratulations, young Master Mirror. You have obtained Miss Nangong. I am very envious. Yes, to be able to marry such a beautiful woman. I think young Master Mirror will become the envy of all young people in the Thunder Territory." Looking at the high-spirited Jing Jiechi, who was wearing a bright red silk robe and had a smile on his face, many experts came to congratulate him. "Haha, many thanks for the honor. Please come in." Thinking that he would soon be able to fulfill his wish of pressing down the arrogant and beautiful Nangong Qingxue and savoring her beautiful body, Jing Jiechi couldn't hide his joy. He laughed heartily and ordered people to receive the expensive gifts. "Family head, do you think that Yi Chunfeng will come and stop the marriage alliance between our 2 powers?" Nangong Ze, who had arrived at the Mirror Moon sect early, felt a trace of unease when he saw the experts of various powers coming to congratulate them. He sent a voice transmission to Nangong Zheng, who was sitting in the main hall and drinking tea in silence. I do hope that he will come. That way, I can use the Mirror Moon sect to kill him. But I think that the chances of him daring to come here is very small, because he knows that once he comes, he won't be able to go back. Nangong Zheng put down the teacup in his hand, and his eyes flashed with a cold light. He sent a voice transmission, and he might not be able to guess that the marriage alliance between our two families is because of him. The Thunder Clan's young master Lei Zifan and Princess Lei Zixin came to congratulate them. Just as Nangong Zheng and the other sect heads of the Thunder Territory were drinking tea and chatting in the main hall of the Mirror Moon sect and waiting for the auspicious time, a loud voice suddenly rang out, causing everyone's eyes to light up. They all put down their teacups and went out to greet the guest. Congratulations, sect head Mirror, Nangong family head. Little nephew has come to congratulate you on behalf of the Thunder Clan. Lei Zifan, who was dressed in a white robe, had a slender figure and a handsome appearance. He slowly walked over and congratulated. Lei Zifan was known as the #1 genius of the Thunder Dominion's younger generation. At such a young age, he had successfully converted to nirvana. His future was limitless, and he was even more likely to become the next patriarch of the Thunder Clan. His arrival immediately caused the atmosphere to become even more lively. Many of the extraordinarily beautiful women revealed excited expressions as they cast flirtatious glances at him. Compared to Lei Zifan, Lei Zixin, who was known as the #1 beauty of the Lightning Territory, was much more eye-catching. She wore a light yellow silk dress, and her long purple hair draped over her shoulders. She had an elegant temperament and was indescribably beautiful. Although Nangong Qingxue was born very beautiful, but compared to Lei Zixin, there was still a certain gap. Looking at her beautiful face that could captivate all living things, her phoenix eyes that inadvertently revealed a charming light, and her bright red lips that were like raging flames that seemed to possess magical powers, all the men present were deeply attracted to her, unable to extricate themselves. Although the Thunder Clan's patriarch did not appear, the arrival of Lei Zifan and Lei Zixin still caused Nangong Zheng and Jing Qian's faces to glow. They accepted their congratulatory gifts, and after exchanging a few pleasantries, they led them into the main hall to rest. Young Master Lei, I wonder if you have heard about the new, great, ferocious person of the Thunder Territory? Nangong Zue exchanged glances with Nangong Zheng before asking. He wanted to find out the Thunder Clan's attitude from Lei Zifan. Elder Nangong was referring to Yi Chenfeng, right? Lei Zifan put down the teacup in his hand and smiled. That's right. This Yi Chenfeng killed the true Thunder 3 Saints and the Insect Demon. He is known as the new, great, ferocious person of the Thunder Territory. I wonder what the Thunder Clan thinks of this person. Nangong Zue nodded and asked. Elder Nangong's information was a bit outdated. Not only did the 3 true Thunder Saints die in his hands, Insect Demon also died in his hands. Lei Zifan said faintly, but the people he killed were all people who deserved to be killed. So what if he killed them? Hearing Lei Zifan's words, Nangong Zheng, Jing Qian, and the others' expressions changed slightly. They were shocked that the Nirvana Almighty Gulan had also died at the hands of Yi Chenfeng, but they were even more surprised by the Thunder Clan's attitude. From Lei Zifan's words, they felt that the Thunder Clan had the intention of letting Yi Chenfeng kill as he pleased. This made them speculate about the relationship between Yi Chenfeng and the Thunder Clan. Young Lord Lei, do you know the background of Yi Chenfeng? Nangong Zheng asked after pondering for a while. Rest assured, Yi Chenfeng has nothing to do with the Thunder Clan. If you have any disputes with him, the Thunder Clan will not interfere. As for his identity, the Thunder Clan does not know either. Lei Zifan said openly. Hearing Lei Zifan's words, Nangong Zheng secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was most afraid that Yi Chenfeng had something to do with the Thunder Clan. Now, it seemed that his worries were unnecessary. He and the Mirror Moon sect could deal with Yi Chenfeng without any worries. Sect Master, Nangong family head, young Lord Lei, Princess Lei, The auspicious time has arrived. Please welcome the guests to the wedding hall. At this moment, a voluptuous woman wearing a red robe with a phoenix pattern walked in. Her sexy waist swayed as she spoke in a soft voice. She brought them to the crowded and joyous wedding hall. Congratulations to Jiechi for getting what he wanted and bringing home the beauty. Lei Zifan and Jin Jiechi knew each other. Looking at the red-robed Jin Jiechi, who couldn't conceal his joy, he slowly walked over and congratulated him. Thank you, young Lord Lei, Princess Lei. I'm really happy that you can come. Facing the #1 person of the Thunder Territory's younger generation, the future master of the Thunder Clan, Jin Jiechi lowered his attitude and greeted them with a smile. When he looked at the pure and refined Lei Zixin, who had long purple hair, he felt a kind of breathtaking feeling. All right, I won't delay you from welcoming the guests. Let's have a few drinks later. Lei Zifan smiled and left with Lei Zixin. The bride has arrived. At this time, the bustling wedding hall became noisy. Nangong Qing Shui, who was wearing a phoenix crown and a red veil, lightly applied makeup, but her eyes were gloomy, came to the wedding hall with the support of 2 beautiful maids. Looking at Nangong Qingshue's beautiful face, rosy red lips, and tall figure, Jin Jiechi's heart burned. He couldn't wait to enter the bridal chamber with her, take off her clothes, and ruthlessly ravage her pure body. The auspicious time had arrived, and the bride and groom had bowed to heaven and earth to get married. A white-haired old man in high spirits slowly walked out and stood beside Jing Qian as he loudly announced. Boom! Suddenly, a loud sound rang out in the Mirror Moon sect. The tightly shut ancient sect gate of the Mirror Moon sect was smashed by brute force. In the next moment, Yi Chun Feng, the spirit fish, the chaos divine beast, the Marquis of Qianming, the sword puppet, and Zhou Qianni appeared in the jubilant Mirror Moon sect. Their appearance was like a huge rock smashing into the ocean, causing a huge uproar. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click the save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1282. Yi Chenfeng. Hearing the commotion, Nangong Zheng, Jing Kahan, and the others appeared in the chaotic front yard. Although they had never seen Yi Chenfeng before, when they saw the handsome Yi Chenfeng with his tall figure and powerful sword intent, they called out his name in unison. Please don't be offended by my sudden arrival. Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile on his delicate face as he looked at Nangong Zheng, Jing Qian, and the others, whose faces were ashen with murderous intent. Then, he spoke indifferently. Yi Chenfeng, I didn't expect you to be so daring to come here and cause trouble. Nangong Zheng's eyes showed thick killing intent as he said coldly, You're wrong. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to propose marriage to the Nangong family head. Yi Chenfeng ignored the killing intent in Nangong Zheng's eyes and said faintly, My little brother fell in love with Nangong Qingxue at first sight. Please allow the Nangong family head to marry Nangong Qingxue to my little brother. Hua! As soon as Yi Chenfeng finished speaking, there was an uproar. Yi Chenfeng, you've gone too far. Jin Jiechi was like an enraged lion as he roared at Yi Chenfeng and looked like he was going to tear him apart. As for Nangong Qingshui, who was dressed in a robe and was as beautiful as a delicate rose, her heart was also not calm. Traces of light appeared in her lifeless eyes. Although she had no feelings for Zhou Qianni, if she had to choose between Zhou Qianni and Jin Jiechi, she would choose Zhou Qianni without hesitation. After all, not everyone could cultivate the sword heart, not to mention that Zhou Qianni had one of the 3 most ferocious people behind him, Yi Chenfeng. If Yi Chenfeng could really make the Mirror Moon sect bow, then the Zhou family's rise would only be a matter of time. But could Yi Chenfeng make the Mirror Moon sect and the Nangong family bow? She couldn't guess the answer. Interesting. This Yi Chenfeng is truly an interesting fellow. He challenged 2 superpowers by himself. I really want to know what he's relying on. Lei Zifan muttered to himself, revealing a playful smile. Big brother, do you think he's relying on our Lei clan? The tall and beautiful Lei Zixin stared fixedly at the tyrannical Yi Chunfeng as she transmitted her voice. This was possible. Lei Ziffin's expression froze as he nodded his head. Yi Chunfeng, you sure have guts. Don't think that you're invincible just because you killed the insect demon and the 3 true lightning saints. If you dare to cause trouble in my Mirror Moon sect, I'll definitely make sure you don't return. Jing Qian was completely enraged and roared loudly. Yi Chunfeng's actions were undoubtedly a slap to their faces. Under his orders, a large number of Mirror Moon sect experts appeared in the chaotic front yard and surrounded Yi Chunfeng's group. They were only waiting for Jing Qian's order to surround and kill them. This is my betrothal gift. Please accept it, Patriarch Nangong. Yi Chunfeng ignored the angry eyes of Jing Qian and the others. He took out a square brocade box from his universe mirror and lightly flicked his finger. It flew toward the ashen-faced Nangong. When Nangong reached out his hand to grab the brocade box suddenly shattered, revealing a head bleeding from 7 orifices. The insect demon. It was the head of the insect demon. Looking at the head in Nangong Zhang's hand, many people recognized that this head was the head of the insect demon, one of the 3 evils of Thunder Domain. Patriarch Nangong, I wonder if you like my betrothal gift. If you're willing to accept it, the matter of you letting the insect demon assassinate me will be written off. Yi Chunfeng looked at the gloomy Nangong Zhang and said, when Tianny and your daughter get married, I will give Patriarch Nangong 10 Gudao treasure, 10 Gudao pills, and 10 top-grade Dao tools. Hiss. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's conditions, the people who were waiting to watch a good show couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. It could be said that this kind of conditions, no power wouldn't be tempted. 10 Gudao treasure, 10 Gudao pills. This was enough to let a powerful power be reborn. I can't promise you. Although Nangong Zhang was also tempted, but at this juncture, he could only refuse Yi Chunfeng. Because if he agreed, Nangong family and Mirror Moon sect would inevitably become life and death enemies. This was something he absolutely didn't want to see. Patriarch Nangong, I am very disappointed with your choice, but this doesn't affect my decision. Yi Chunfeng seemed to have already predicted Nangong Zhang's decision. He cast his gaze towards Nangong Qingxue, who was biting her red lips and feeling extremely uneasy, and said, Nangong Qingxue, I know you are not willing to marry Jing Jieqi, but I don't know if you are willing to marry Tianny. As long as you nod your head, I will immediately take you away. Too much bullying, Yi Chunfeng, you have gone too far. Yi Chunfeng's words were like an invisible palm that ruthlessly slapped on Jing Jieqi's face. It humiliated him, made him angry, and made him completely lose control of his emotions. He wanted nothing more than to cut Yi Chunfeng into 1,000 pieces. I have gone too far. What can you do about it? Yi Chunfeng looked at Jing Jieqi, whose eyes were blood red with murderous intent, and said emotionlessly, You are not worthy of Nangong Qingxue. Junior, my Mirror Moon sect is not a place for you to behave atrociously. At this time, a deep voice sounded. An old man wearing a blue robe, with snow-white hair, sword-like eyebrows, a square face, and deeply sunken eyes, giving off a ferocious feeling, stepped on the void and appeared. Jinghua, enlightened master. Didn't the rumors say that he failed to challenge Lihin Heaven and died of old age? How come he is still alive? Are you stupid? You actually believe the rumors? If Jinghua, enlightened master, died, Mirror Moon sect would still be standing in the Thunder region. Seeing Jinghua, enlightened master, one of the 2 main pillars of Mirror Moon sect, appear, the masters from all the major forces who came to congratulate him began to whisper. Even though the insect demon was terrifying compared to Jinghua, enlightened master who had lived for over 40,000 years, there was still a certain gap in power. Plus, Mirror Moon sect didn't have Jinghua, enlightened master, a Nirvana master. Yi Chunfeng challenging 2 super forces in public was no different than courting death. Nirvana master saw Jinghua, enlightened master, suddenly appear. Yi Chunfeng didn't show a trace of panic on his face as he said, emotionlessly, If I want to take Nangong Qingxue away, you can't stop me. Presumptuous. Jinghua enlightened master's face darkened as an invincible aura emitted from his old body. It rolled through the void and suppressed Yi Chunfeng and the others. This aura was so strong that it made everyone around feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. They felt a chill from head to toe, and their chests felt like there was a mountain pressing down on them, making it hard for them to breathe. Seeing Jinghua enlightened master's invincible aura oppressing Yi Chunfeng, Marquis Qianming, who was standing beside Yi Chunfeng, narrowed his eyes. An equally terrifying aura emitted from his body like an erupting volcano. It collided with Jinghua enlightened master's aura and formed a terrifying storm in the void. In the next moment, the sword puppet used its hand as a sword and slashed out. A sword light as fast as lightning shot into the sky, as if it wanted to split the void in half. It slashed towards Jinghua enlightened master and forced him to step back. The two Nirvana masters looking at the Marquis, Qianming, and the sword puppet guarding Yi Chunfeng, Nangong Zheng and Jing Kahan's expressions changed slightly. Yi Chunfeng, no one can protect you today. Today, you will die without a doubt. As he spoke, an illusory and dreamy light mirror appeared above Jinghua, enlightened master's head. He was ready to use this extremely powerful quasi-sage treasure to kill Yi Chunfeng with all his might. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1283. Jinghua Zhenren. Isn't it a bit unreasonable for an older generation like you to bully a young person? Just as the battle was about to break out, an old man wearing a dark brown robe and emitting a cold aura walked out and arrived beside Yi Chunfeng. In Jiuyao, if your Earthine sect wants to protect him, you'll become enemies with my Mirror Moon sect and the Nangong family. Jinghua Zhenren looked at In Jiuyao with hostility and said furiously, "That's right, my Earthine sect has decided to stand with young Master Yi." In Ruoshi, who was wearing a black dress with a golden phoenix pattern that outlined her voluptuous figure, looked at Taoist Mirrorbloom's angry eyes and openly declared her position. She was wearing a black dress with a golden phoenix pattern that accentuated her voluptuous figure. Although her decision was very bold and dangerous, after seeing how terrifying Yi Chunfeng was, she and In Jiuyao decided to take the risk after discussing it. Moreover, she subconsciously felt that the chances of Yi Chunfeng losing weren't very high. Yi Chunfeng dared to challenge the Mirror Moon sect and the Nangong family, so he definitely had something they didn't expect. Good, In Ruoshi, very good. I hereby swear that the Earthine sect will be my Mirror Moon sect's eternal enemy. If I don't destroy your Earthine sect, I swear I'm not human. Jinghua Zhenren's eyes flashed with a chilling light as he swore. You probably won't live to see that day. With that, Yi Chunfeng crushed a beast-controlling pouch. Immediately, over 10,000 gold-devouring bugs flew out and circled around Yi Chunfeng and the others. They let out ear-piercing screeches. Gold-devouring bugs. These are the insect demon's gold-devouring bugs. Seeing Yi Chunfeng summon over 10,000 gold-devouring bugs, the expressions of the experts hiding in the distance changed drastically. If Yi Chunfeng recklessly used the gold-devouring bugs to attack, they probably wouldn't be able to escape with their destructive power. Brat, don't be so impudent in my Mirror Moon sect. At this moment, another Nirvana expert with unfathomable power appeared in the Mirror Moon sect. Reverend Watermoon and the two ancestors of the Mirror Moon sect had both appeared. Many people recognized the silver-haired old woman with a dragon head staff as one of the two great elders of the Mirror Moon sect, Reverend Watermoon. Her strength was on par with Reverend Jinghua. Start formation in order to restrain the gold-devouring bugs and prevent more casualties. Jing Qian activated the Mirror Moon sect's array formation. Tens of thousands of array formations appeared in the void, ready to isolate the space and restrain the space-devouring bugs at any time. Serene, when we fight later, please take care of Tian, E, and leave the rest to us. Although Yi Chunfeng was in a bad situation, there was still no trace of panic on his face. He transmitted his voice to Yin Jiuyao. Young Master Yi and Katoptra deflection strength were unfathomable, and they were good at joint attacks. If they worked together, they could stop an ordinary Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert. Yin Jiuyao said worriedly, "Don't worry, Senior Yin. They won't have a chance to attack together." As he spoke, a pitch-black bead appeared in Yi Qinfeng's hand. When Old Man Heavenly Eagle, who was mixed in the crowd and came to offer his congratulations, saw the pearl in Yi Qinfeng's hand, his expression changed drastically. He involuntarily took 2 steps back. Not only did Old Man Heavenly Eagle feel threatened by the Sane Annihilation Orb, but the 2 adepts, Hua Shuiyue and Hua Shuiyue, who were preparing to attack together, also felt threatened. "Who do you think I should send to hell first?" Chunfeng looked at the serious expressions of the 2 adepts, the illusionary flower and the water moon, and revealed a playful smile. "Yi Chunfeng, don't be so arrogant. A single orb of extermination won't be able to change your fate," Reverend Mirrorbloom said with a gloomy expression, not daring to approach. "If one doesn't work, then 2. After that, Yi Chunfeng took out another Annihilation sacred orb and held it in his hand to frighten the 2 enlightened beings. Damn, where did this little bastard come from? How could he have such a treasure? Feeling the destructive power contained within the Sane Annihilation Orb, Jing Qian did not dare to act rashly. He had no doubt that once Yi Chunfeng detonated the Sane Annihilation Orb, it would definitely bring a calamity to them, and he himself would most likely be blown to death. "Nangong family leader, I will ask you one last time. I represent my younger brother to propose marriage to you. Please marry Nangong Qingxue to Tian Yi. Are you willing?" Yi Chunfeng held the 2 Saint Annihilation Pearls in his hands and intimidated the 2 spiritual masters. He cast his gaze toward the gloomy Nangong Zheng and asked in a low voice, "Give up. I have already decided to marry Qingxue to Jia Qi, and I will not change this decision." Yi Chunfeng's trump card was out of Nangong Zheng's expectation, but at this moment he had no way out. He could only brace himself and express his opinion. "Nangong family leader, I am once again disappointed in your choice." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "I hope you don't regret it. Young Master Lei, this Yi Chunfeng is too arrogant. I hope that young Master Lei can help us kill him and eradicate this malignant tumor that threatens the lightning territory." Jingjiaqi's eyes rolled as he looked at Lei Zifen, whose eyes were flickering, and said loudly. Hearing that Jingjiaqi wanted to drag him into the water, Lei Zifen frowned. However, he knew he could not back down. He could only stand up and say, "Young Master Yi, can you listen to me? You are?" Yi Chunfeng looked at the handsome Lei Zifen and asked in a low voice, "I am Lei Zifen, and my father is the current leader of the Thunder Clan." Lei Zifen said neither arrogantly nor humbly. "Thunder Clan young master," Yi Chunfeng frowned and asked in a low voice, "What? Does the Thunder Clan want to get involved in today's matter?" "Young Master Yi, please do not misunderstand. The Thunder Clan has no intention of getting involved. However, the 2 orbs in your hands are too destructive. To avoid unnecessary casualties, please do not use them." "Okay, I will give the Thunder Clan face and promise not to use the 2 Sane Annihilation Orbs. However, if anyone does not know what is good for them, then don't blame me for being ruthless." Yi Chunfeng said coldly. "Yi Chunfeng, if you're willing to leave now, the Mirror Moon sect can let bygones be bygones. Although Reverend Mirrorflower's time is up, and he doesn't have much lifespan left, he still fears death and doesn't dare to take the risk. Moreover, Yi Chunfeng has 2 Sane Annihilation Orbs. Once they explode, it will cause immeasurable losses to the Mirror Moon sect. We can leave if you want, but Nangong Qingxue must come with us." Yi Chunfeng said overbearingly. "Impossible. Qingxue will not go with you." Nangong Zheng shook his head and denied. "Then there is no room for negotiation. In that case, let's fight. I want to see who can stop me today." With that, Yi Chunfeng's battle intent suddenly exploded. His entire body was like an unsheathed sword, extremely sharp. Ayo! The Chaos Divine Beast also transformed into its original form at this moment. The aura of a saint beast was released without reservation. After devouring the demonic core of the mother metal devouring insect and large amounts of heaven and earth spirit treasures, the chaos divine beast strength increased again. It was comparable to nirvana. Saint Beast, that person was transformed from Saint Beast. Who was this Yi Chenfeng? Not only did he have two nirvana protecting him, he also had a Saint Beast following him. Feeling the aura of the chaos divine beast, Nangong Zheng and the rest became even more serious. It could be said that Yi Chenfeng's power and foundation exceeded their imagination, causing them to fall into a dilemma. Just as the battle was about to erupt, Zhou Qianni looked at the pale-faced Nangong Qingxue, who was biting her lips and feeling extremely uneasy, and stepped forward. 10 chapters, 10 chapters, please give me a red packet. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1284. Big Brother, since this happened because of me, why don't I settle this with Jing Jieqi? Zhou Qianni took a deep breath and said, Jing Jieqi, do you dare to bet with me? Jing Jieqi revealed a vicious expression and said, Can you make the decision? Big Brother, trust me. Zhou Qianni clenched his fists, looked at Yi Chenfeng, and said with a firm tone. Yi Chenfeng looked into Zhou Qianni's deep eyes and said, I've thought it through. Zhou Qianni nodded heavily. Fine, Tiannis will represent my will. Can you represent the Mirror Moon sect? Yi Chenfeng looked at Jing Jieqi and asked in a low voice. Jieqi can represent the Mirror Moon sect. If Zhou Qianni can defeat Jing Jieqi, you could take Nangong Qingxue away. The threat of the two Saint Perishing Pearls was too great. Jing Huazhenren didn't dare to take the risk. Plus, Yi Chenfeng had 3 super bodyguards. Leaving today's farce to Zhou Qianni and Jing Jieqi was the best choice. Plus, Zhou Qianni was only a level 3 combat Beast Emperor, while Jing Jieqi was a level 5 combat Beast Emperor. The huge gap made Jing Huazhenren feel that Jing Jieqi had a high chance of winning. Nangong family head, what do you think? Yi Chenfeng looked at Nangong Zheng and asked in a low voice. Since Jing Huazhenren has spoken, then let's do it. Although Nangong Zheng was a bit angry at Jing Huazhenren's decision and wanted to get rid of Yi Chenfeng in the Mirror Moon sect, seeing the 2 Saint Perishing Pearls in Yi Chenfeng's hand, he had to compromise. Seeing that she was the wager, Nangong Qingxue was furious. But Zhou Qianni's disregard for life and death moved her heart, making her subconsciously hope that Zhou Qianni could win. Since it's like this, then let's fight to the death. Jing Huazhenren said, If we win, I hope you won't continue to cause trouble. Otherwise, the Mirror Moon sect will use everything we have to take your lives. Don't worry, I don't want to go back on my words, Yi Chenfeng said indifferently. The marriage between the 2 great powers had turned into a martial arts arena. This was something that no one had expected. However, Yi Chenfeng's tyrannical strength had penetrated deep into everyone's hearts. Nangong Zheng, in particular, had developed a strong desire to kill Yi Chenfeng. He kept thinking of ways to keep him alive in the Mirror Moon sect. Since you have decided to gamble with your lives, then only one of you can survive. Have you thought it through? Jing Kehan personally presided over the life and death battle between Zhou Qianni and Jing Jieqi. I've thought it through. Zhou Qianni looked deeply at Nangong Qingxue, who had a complicated expression and was biting her red lips, and said firmly, I have no objections. Jing Jia, who was confident in his strength, said curiously, All right, since you all have made up your minds, then this competition will not end until one of you is killed, announced Kahan. Little bastard, Nangong Qingxue is not someone you can touch. Today, I will personally twist off your head and send you to the afterlife. Jing Qian said sinisterly as he took out a superior grade Dao tool. This Dao tool was in the shape of a lotus flower and had a wide blade. You are not worthy of Qingxue. Even if I die, I will drag you down to hell with me. After saying that, Zhou Qianni hugged his king weapon with a determined expression and closed his eyes. Silence awaited the start of the competition. Young Master Yi, if Tianyi loses, will you really leave? Yin Ruashi walked to Yi Chenfeng's side and transmitted her voice. Tianyi will not lose, said Yi Chenfeng without hesitation. Zhou Tianyi challenging Jing Jieqi was actually something that Yi Chenfeng and Zhou Tianyi had already discussed. Just now, it was also a show that they had put on. Will not lose. Yin Ruashi's brows slightly raised. Looking at Yi Chenfeng's chiseled face, she was looking forward to this battle. The competition began. Following Jing Kehan's command, the life and death battle between Zhou Tianyi and Jing Kehan began. The two of them immediately used all their skills to launch fatal attacks at each other. They wanted to suppress each other with their tide-like attacks. Transform Snake Bloodline, True Yang Body, Fusion. After consuming the Yin-Yang Life Elixir, the Yin and Yang energy in Zhou Tianyi's body completely fused. When he ignited his bloodline power and activated his True Yang Body, his strength rose steadily. Soon, he surpassed the limit of a level 3 combat Beast Emperor and possessed the strength of a level 4 combat Beast Emperor. However, Jing Jieqi was a level 5 combat Beast Emperor expert and was also known as the #1 genius of the Mirror Moon sect. He was extremely powerful. Even when Zhou Tianyi ignited his bloodline and activated his True Yang Body, he was still not his opponent. Soon, he was suppressed by her attacks and was surrounded by danger. Level 5 sword form, Mu Yun sword cannon. Facing Jing Jieqi's tide-like attacks, Zhou Tianyi deduced the level 5 sword Dao to the extreme and used the Mu Yun sword cannon that Yi Chenfeng had given him. Streaks of sharp sword rays intertwined, cutting through space and dissolving Jing Jieqi's attacks. Go to hell. Relying on his absolute strength to block Zhou Tianyi's Mu Yun sword cannon, Jing Jieqi leapt into the air and fused with his blade, slashing out a slash that could split mountains and rivers. With a slash of his blade, wind and clouds surged, thunder and lightning intertwined. The terrifying blade aura made Zhou Tianyi smell the thick threat of death. Bang! Jing Jieqi's blade slashed down on the king weapon that Zhou Tianyi was trying his best to block above his head. The terrifying blade runes were like a boiling tide, crazily surging, tearing apart Zhou Tianyi's body defense and aggravating his injuries, causing him to retreat step by step. And with every step he took back, a large amount of blood spurted out from Zhou Tianyi's mouth. Clearly, Jing Jieqi's slash had heavily injured Zhou Tianyi's body. Seeing Zhou Tianyi's miserable state, Nangong Qingxue suddenly felt her heart ache. Zhou Tianyi's fearless eyes and blood-soaked figure were deeply engraved in the depths of her soul, constantly tugging at her heartstrings. Yi Chenfeng, you're still too arrogant. Wait until Jing Jieqi kills that little bastard. I want to see how you deal with this. If you go back on your word and seek justice for that little bastard, I think the Thunder Clan won't sit idly by. The reason Jing Jieqi agreed to Zhou Tianyi's life and death bet was mainly to drag the Thunder Clan down with him. If the Thunder Clan interfered, no matter how powerful Yi Chenfeng was, he would still lose miserably. But he didn't know that all of this was under Yi Chenfeng's control. After heavily injuring Zhou Tianyi with one slash, Jing Jieqi followed up with a relentless barrage of attacks to suppress Zhou Tianyi, not giving him the slightest chance to breathe. It's over. Just when Zhou Tianyi, who was retreating step by step, collided with the restriction wall behind him and had no path of retreat, Jing Jieqi revealed a trace of a cruel smile. He activated the power of his bloodline and deduced the Dao insight to execute the inherited Dao skill of the Mirror Moon sect to launch a lethal attack at Zhou Tianyi, wanting to kill him in one strike. Vertigo art. At the crucial moment, Zhou Tianyi, who had been suppressed by Jing Jieqi all this time, used the killing move that Yi Chenfeng had taught him. The soul power in his mind instantly exploded, and like a heavy hammer, it smashed into Jing Jieqi's soul sea, causing his reaction to become slightly slower. Although Jing Jieqi had returned to normal in the blink of an eye, that fleeting moment was enough to be fatal. Sword Heart Burst, Dust Cloud, Sword Cannon. Zhou Qianni activated his sword heart and forcibly increased his attack power by several folds. He executed the supreme-grade dusk cloud sword cannon and stabbed at Jing Jieqi at close range. A large amount of blood splattered as Jing Jieqi's defenses were broken by Zhou Tianni's sword and pierced through his heart meridian. Immediately after, Zhou Tianni's wrist shook and shot out a large amount of sword Dao patterns. They were like a sky full of sword butterflies that slashed at Jing Jieqi's head and directly beheaded him. Bang! Jing Jieqi's eyes widened as his head rolled on the ground, with blood flowing out from his 7 orifices. Until the moment of his death, he still couldn't believe that Zhou Qianni actually killed him. Mobile reading home, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1285. Jiaqi seeing Jing Jieqi lying in a pool of blood. Jing Qian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. A large amount of qi and blood rushed to his head, and his mind went blank. He could not believe that Jing Jieqi had died just like that. You dare to kill Jiaqi? I'll take your life. Jing Jieqi was Jing Qian's most beloved son, and he had high hopes for him. But now, Jing Jieqi had been killed right under his nose, and he lost all reason. He let out an uncontrollable roar. Qi, a mercury-like saber light, slashed down, bringing with it a power that made people despair. It slashed towards Zhou Qianni, wanting to kill him and take revenge for Jing Jieqi. Seeing Zhou Qianni being cut in half by this shocking saber light, an extremely fast figure blocked in front of Zhou Qianni, using his own body to block this saber. What tough body! Jing Qian was a Nirvana expert. Seeing the sword puppet not being injured after taking his saber attack head-on, the people watching from afar sucked in a cold breath. Sect Master Jing, is this your so-called reputation? Have you lived for so many years in vain? Yi Chenfeng looked at the furious Jing Qian with a dark expression and shouted without holding back. You! Jing Qian looked at Yi Chenfeng viciously. His mind spun quickly, wondering if he should shed all pretense of cordiality and kill Yi Chenfeng and the others to take revenge for Jing Jieqi. However, he still had some misgivings about the consequences of shedding all pretense of cordiality. After all, Yi Chenfeng was not weak and had the help of the Earthine sect. Even if they could kill Yi Chenfeng in the end, they would have to pay a great price, and the Mirror Moon sect's reputation would be ruined. Just as he was hesitating, the sword puppet that saved Zhou Tianni suddenly attacked Jing Qian, thrusting its sword. This sword was too fast, giving people the feeling that it was like a bolt of lightning cutting through the void, making it impossible for people to react. Jing Qian did not think that the sword puppet would dare to attack him in the Mirror Moon sect. His reaction was slightly delayed, and he was struck by the sword puppet. A deep sword wound appeared on his chest, and a large amount of blood spurted out. Whoosh! Whoosh! After injuring Jing Qian with one strike, the sword puppet followed up with another attack. It held the Black Dragon's sacred sword in its hand and attacked rapidly. Streaks of sharp sword light enveloped Jing Qian and forced him to defend with all his might. This sudden scene stunned everyone. Just as the two enlightened masters regained their senses and wanted to help, Yi Chenfeng used his sword steps and suddenly appeared beside Jing Qian. The 4 Dao diagrams appeared around his body. He held the Dragon's Pine sacred sword and stabbed towards Jing Qian's back, determined to kill him. Have a death wish when the 2 Daoist masters saw Yi Chenfeng suddenly attacking Yi Chenfeng to kill Jing Qian. They were instantly enraged. They rushed forward recklessly and unleashed their terrifying killing moves towards Yi Chenfeng. Ancient map fragment, forbidden when the 2 adepts of the mirror, flower, Shuiwei, Yi Chenfeng's body appeared in the ancient map fragment. It sealed the entire space and trapped the 3 Nirvana realm experts in the ancient map fragment seal. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng crushed a sane annihilation pearl. An unimaginable destructive energy erupted, shattering everything in the void. Seeing Yi Chun-feng and the sword puppet being annihilated by the Saint Annihilation Pearl's destructive energy, they hid in the universe realm and time, allowing the three enlightened masters to be swallowed by the Saint Annihilation Pearl's destructive energy. Know the Saint Annihilation Pearl's destructive energy could even injure Nirvana heavenly realm experts. It was not something the three enlightened masters could withstand. Under the attack of the Saint Annihilation Pearl's destructive energy, the defensive trump cards they summoned were continuously shattered. Their injuries were also increasing, and they were faintly unable to hold on. Mirror Flower, Qian, I will leave the Mirror Moon sect to you too. On the verge of death, enlightened Master Shui, you stood in front of the two enlightened masters, who were severely injured. She used her own life to fight for them. Shui Yu, I swear I will avenge you. Seeing enlightened Master Shui Yu's body being shattered by the Saint Annihilation Pearl, enlightened Master Shui Yu's eyes turned blood red. His heart felt like it was being stabbed by a knife. However, at this moment, they did not have time to hesitate. They used the sliver of time enlightened Master Shui Yu had bought with her life to attack the cracked ancient map fragment's restriction with all their strength. They tore a hole in the restriction and escaped in a sorry state. Before they could catch their breath, the Marquis of Qianming and the Chaos Divine Beast rushed up with their respective quasi-sage artifacts and quasi-sage treasures. They attacked the two of them, wanting to kill them while they were heavily injured. How could enlightened Master Shui Yu and Sect Master Shui Yu be so heavily injured? Where was enlightened Master Shui Yu and Yi Chun-feng? Because the ancient map fragment had sealed the space, the onlookers could only hear the loud noise. They did not know what was happening inside. Seeing the two severely injured enlightened Master Shui Yu and Sect Master Shui Yu being suppressed by the Chaos Divine Beast and the Marquis of Qianming, they were all stunned. Shui Yu has been killed. Now it's your turn. I will let your Mirror Moon sect know the consequences of going back on your words and breaking the rules. A thunderous voice rang out. Yi Chun-feng put away the ancient map fragment that was riddled with cracks and flew out with the sword spirit puppet. Then, he spoke with a murderous intent. What? Enlightened Master Shui Yu is dead? Hearing this, everyone present was dumbfounded. They could not believe what they had heard. It could be said that enlightened Master Shui Yu's death was even more shocking than the insect demon's death. Moreover, enlightened Master Shui Yu had died in the Mirror Moon sect. This made their hearts tremble at Yi Chun-feng's methods. Powerful. This Yi Chun-feng's methods are truly powerful. I feel like he never wanted to compromise from the start. Zhou Tianyi and Jing Jieqi's life and death bet should only be a catalyst, an excuse. He never wanted to let go of the Mirror Moon sect at all. Lei Zixin looked deeply at Yi Chun-feng's proud figure and was not stingy with her praise. Yes, this Yi Chun-feng is very terrifying. We have to reevaluate him. Lei Zifan nodded. Yi Chun-feng, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not human. Enlightened Master Shui Yu's death had completely infuriated Enlightened Master Jinghua. He let out a sorrowful roar and burned his longevity and blood qi at all costs to stabilize his injuries and fight with his full strength. Patriarch Nangong, my Mirror Moon sect is in trouble. Please take into account the relationship between our two factions and help us kill the enemy. As long as we kill this little bastard, my Mirror Moon sect will serve the Nangong family in the future. In order to kill Yi Chun-feng's group and take revenge for enlightened Master Shui Yu and Jing Jieqi, Jing Kehan gave Nangong Zheng a condition that he could not refuse. Nangong Zheng, if your Nangong family dares to interfere, I guarantee that your Nangong family will become the second Mirror Moon sect. Just as Nangong Zheng's heart was restless and wanted to help, Yi Chun-feng's arrogant and overbearing warning sounded in his ears. It was like a basin of cold water that extinguished the flames in his heart. Father, don't make mistakes again and again. Young Master Yi is not someone we can provoke. If you continue to be stubborn, you may bring disaster to my Nangong family. Looking at the hesitant Nangong Zheng's eyes, Nangong Qingxue, who was wearing a phoenix crown and a robe, walked to his side and said softly, "Sai, forget it." Nangong Zheng sighed softly and said, "Qingxue, If Yi Qinfeng really wins, please help us say a few words and ask for his forgiveness. I will. Nangong Qingxue looked at Zhou Tianyi, who was covered in blood, and gave her a great shock. She nodded lightly. Nangong Zheng, do you really want to abandon my Mirror Moon sect? Do you know that all of this started because of you? Jing Kahan, who was seriously injured and could not withstand the fierce attacks of the Chaos Divine Beast, and the Marquis of Qianming, roared angrily when he saw Nangong Zheng's indifference. I'm sorry, sect leader Jing. I can't make mistakes again and again. My Nangong family will withdraw from the dispute. Nangong Zheng sighed softly and said apologetically, Good, Nangong Zheng. I was wrong to believe a despicable and shameless person like you. Jing Kahan fell into madness and roared angrily. Wait until my Mirror Moon sect passes through this crisis. I will fight to the death with your Nangong family. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1286. Moon Mirror Killing Formation. Annihilate 10,000 enemies as Jing Qian defended against the attacks of the Divine Beasts of Chaos and the Marquis of Qianming. He crushed a palm-sized formation plate in the shape of a crystal. Tens of thousands of formation runes spread out and merged into the activated Moon Mirror Killing Formation, increasing its power to the maximum. In the next moment, countless formation runes condensed in the void. Under Jing Qian's guidance, they swept down from the sky and attacked Yi Qinfeng and the others. 9 Dragon Jade Wall, break. Facing the attack of the Moon Mirror Killing Formation, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Supreme Grade Saint Treasure 9 Dragon Jade Wall. He ignited his dragon bloodline and increased his soul power by 7 times. He poured his soul power into the 9 Dragon Jade Wall and controlled the 9 Dragon Jade Wall to form a killing dragon. It tore apart thousands of formation runes and bombarded the Moon Mirror Killing Formation. Boom, boom, boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Facing the attack of the 9 Dragon Jade Wall, the powerful Moon Mirror Killing Formation let out an earth-shattering sound. Visible cracks spread out on the surface of the Moon Mirror Killing Formation. The formation runes surging within the Killing Formation were crushed by the power released by the Killing Dragon. Large amounts of formation foundations were shattered. How is this possible? How can he have such a powerful treasure? The Moon Mirror Killing Formation was the main formation of the Moon Mirror sect. It had been passed down for tens of thousands of years. The power it contained was unimaginable. However, facing the attack of the 9 Dragon Jade Wall, the Moon Mirror Killing Formation was shattered. This made Jing Qian and the others' hearts drop to the bottom. The people watching from afar were even more shocked by Yi Qinfeng's shocking methods. Their hearts trembled. Moon Mirror Sect, listen to my orders. Attack together and defend the Moon Mirror Sect with your lives. Jing Qian ordered loudly. If you don't want to die, get out of my way. I'll kill whoever dares to interfere. After summoning over 1,000 Supreme Grade Formation flags and setting up the 1,000 Killing Formation to resist the attack of the Moon Mirror Killing Formation, Yi Qinfeng drank a mouthful of heavenly secret water. He quickly recovered his almost depleted soul power and warned with a murderous intent. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's warning, most of the Mirror Moon sect's disciples retreated. However, there were still 4 Nirvana experts and 7 level 6 combat beast emperors who summoned their Gudao treasure and attacked Yi Qinfeng and the others. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with killing intent as he quickly recovered his soul power. He then ignited his dragon bloodline and fiend god bloodline, fusing them with the blood demon diagram. He raised his strength to the limit and charged forward with the dragon's pine sacred sword. Go to hell. Yi Qinfeng quickly approached. The 11 Mirror Moon sect experts roared and controlled their Gu Dao treasure to attack. They wanted to gather everyone's power to severely injure Yi Qinfeng. Golden-winged flying feather Dao treasures flashed before Yi Qinfeng's eyes like a meteor shower. He summoned the quasi-sage treasure, the golden-winged flying feather, and moved quickly through the limited space. He relied on his absolute speed to pass through the 11 Dao treasures and ancient Dao treasures charging at him. He appeared before the shocked Mirror Moon sect experts. One line, sword slash with a thrust of the sword. The sky changed color. This sword was unimaginably fast. This sword seemed to have pierced through heaven and earth. It had the power to annihilate all living things. This sword made people despair. It instantly killed 4 level 6 combat beast emperors and injured one of Nirvana's experts. A large amount of blood blossomed in the sky like blood flowers. Powerful Big Brother, if you were to fight with Yi Qinfeng, do you think you could defeat him? Lei Zixin, who had extremely high standards, turned her head to look at Lei Zifen, who was unable to take his eyes off him, and asked in a soft voice, "I am inferior to him." Although Lei Zifen was known as the #1 expert of the Lei clan's younger generation, after seeing the power of Yi Qinfeng's sword, he sighed deeply and felt ashamed of his inferiority. I really want to know where he came from, and which great power nurtured such a peerless genius like him. Lei Zixin was full of interest towards Yi Qinfeng. She blinked her big eyes and said excitedly, "After killing 4 level 6 combat beast emperors with a single sword, Yi Qinfeng followed up with another attack. The Sword Dao diagram, Life and Death Dao diagram, Heaven and Earth Dao diagram, and 5 Elements Dao diagram appeared on his body. Torrential Dao might soared into the sky and turned into a boundless Dao sea. Yi Qinfeng used the sword steps and burst forth with 10 times the speed. With an unparalleled Dao might, he attacked the injured Nirvana expert. When Yi Qinfeng attacked, the Nirvana expert, who was prepared to die, did not dodge. He raised his strength to the limit. The instant he used the 2 Gu Dao treasures, he executed his strongest attack. He turned into a beam of killing light and blasted towards Yi Qinfeng. Absolute Sword Black Dragon Yi Qinfeng's pupil shrank. The boundless Dao seemed merged into the dragon's spine, sacred sword. A black dragon-like sword radiance shot out from the dragon spine sacred sword and slashed towards the expert. This sword radiance seemed to be able to cut through everything in the world. Even the gods would have to submit to it. The 2 Gu Dao treasures were sent flying, and the beam of killing light was split apart. The Nirvana expert, who was unable to dodge in time, was split into 2 halves. After killing the Nirvana expert with 1 sword, Yi Qinfeng's strength once again shocked everyone. When Yi Qinfeng killed 5 people in a row with absolute strength, the sword puppet, Chaos Divine Beast, and Marquis Qianming worked together to suppress the attacks of Jing Kehan and Jinghua Jinren with an overwhelming advantage. They kept worsening their injuries. The Mirror Moon killing formation, which had been destroyed by the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, and 1,000 killing formations set up by Yi Qinfeng with more than 1,000 supreme-grade formation flags, continued to crack. It was only a matter of time before it was destroyed. The Mirror Moon sect was finished. Seeing the situation in front of them, many people sighed. Until now, some people still couldn't believe that the Mirror Moon sect, whose strength was second only to the Thunder Clan, had been defeated by Yi Qinfeng and the others. Moreover, they were in danger of being exterminated. After killing 5 people in a row, Yi Qinfeng didn't slow down his attacks. He relied on his amazing defense to ignore the attacks of the 6 Mirror Moon sect experts. He controlled the Bronze Sword Soul to fuse into the Dragon Spine, Saintly Sword, and attacked crazily. At the same time, he controlled the Qinkuan Sword Formation to kill fiercely. Soon, the remaining 3 level 6 combat beast emperors were killed one after another. Only 3 Nirvana experts were left, covered in blood, struggling to hold on. Damn it, isn't this guy human? The 3 Nirvana experts who were severely injured and only had the strength to defend themselves became more and more shocked as they fought. It could be said that Yi Qinfeng's combat strength and defense had overturned their understanding. Gu Jianga, Heart of the Sword Bright Moon, just as the 3 gritted their teeth and struggled to hold on, Yi Qinfeng's 4 great Dao diagrams turned into a torrential Dao sea again. Following Yi Qinfeng's attack, Gu Jianga, which contained the sound of Dao, slashed towards them. A single sword tore apart the 3's ultimate attacks. Qinkuan Ring, Qinkuan Strike, then the 81 Qinkuan swords fused together and turned into a Qinkuan giant sword. It was as if it was tearing the sky apart, and killed a Nirvana expert who was trying his best to defend. At this moment, only 2 of the 11 Mirror Moon sect experts who were attacking Yi Qinfeng were left. And the 2 of them were scared out of their wits by Yi Qinfeng's strength, and their combat strength was greatly reduced. Under the merciless attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the others, the Mirror Moon sect, which had been flourishing for a while, was utterly defeated. 20 red envelopes will be given out today. If you want the password for the red envelopes, please add Yunlei's WeChat account, YLTY83, or just search Yunlei Tianyu's official account. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1287. Rumble. Just as the Mirror Moon sect's momentum was in sight, and Yi Qinfeng and the others worked together to push them back, the Mirror Moon sect's forbidden ground suddenly trembled, and a bottomless crack appeared. Large amounts of golden light shot out from the crack, as though a sun was being nurtured in the crack. Progenitor. The progenitor has awakened. Seeing the golden light in the distance, Taoist Mirror Flower and Jing Qian, who were at their limits, were overjoyed. They saw hope in their despairing eyes. Who dares to cause trouble in my Mirror Moon sect? A deep and domineering voice sounded from the crack. An ancient coffin that seemed to be made of gold flew out from the crack and floated in the air. At the next moment, a man wearing golden armor and holding a golden spear, looking like a golden god of war, pushed open the golden ancient coffin and walked out. The juniors are useless and unable to protect the Mirror Moon sect. Progenitor, please bless my Mirror Moon sect and seek justice for my Mirror Moon sect. When the Golden War God appeared and shocked everyone, the severely injured Taoist Mirror Flower and Jing Qian took the opportunity to fly to the Golden War God's side and denounce Yi Qinfeng's evil deeds. Progenitor, the Mirror Moon sect progenitor is actually still alive. Jing Qian's address of the Golden War God shocked everyone. They didn't expect the Mirror Moon sect to have such a trump card. Their progenitor was actually still alive. Why did such a thing happen? The appearance of the Golden War God was like a bolt of lightning that struck Nangong Zheng, leaving him dumbfounded. He originally thought that the Mirror Moon sect's momentum was gone and that there was no way to reverse the situation. He was thinking of a way to appease Yi Qinfeng's enemies against the Nangong family. But in the blink of an eye, the Mirror Moon sect's progenitor appeared and reversed the situation, causing his heart to turn cold. No, there was something wrong with the Golden War God. He wasn't alive. His body was controlled by someone. Lei Zifen frowned and stared at the Golden War God, who suddenly appeared. He discovered that his eyes, hidden in the golden light, were empty and lifeless. There were no signs of life in his body. He sensed something was wrong. Not a living person? Lei Zixin frowned as she thought of a possibility. If I'm not wrong, Mirror Moon ancestor Lei Feng died a long time ago. But when he passed away, the Mirror Moon sect used some unknown method to seal his soul, allowing it to live until now. It became the Mirror Moon sect's greatest trump card. Lei Zifen nodded, understanding the greatest secret of the Mirror Moon sect. Brother, who do you think will have the last laugh today? Lei Zixin looked at Yi Qinfeng's solemn expression and asked in a low voice. I didn't expect the Mirror Moon sect to have such a trump card. Right now, it's hard to say who will win. Lei Zifen shook his head and said, but that Yi Qinfeng still has an annihilation orb that can kill Nirvana's Almighty. I think that even if they can't win, they can still leave safely. The Mirror Moon sect was not to be invaded. Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor released a savage voice. The golden battle clothes shone brilliantly, making him the only one present, shining so brilliantly that others couldn't open their eyes, feeling a sense of worship. I think Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor is just a lonely soul. The God Eater brain quickly deduced and sensed Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor's true state. This made Yi Qinfeng relax. With the God Eater brain, he didn't fear souls at all. You're asking for death. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor roared. Like a falling sun, he shone with golden light and attacked Yi Feng and the others. Chaos God Beast, Marquis, Qian Ming, I'll leave those two to you. I'll deal with this lonely soul with the sword puppet. Saying this, Yi Feng, who was wearing a golden dragon robe and had an extreme defense, exploded with 200 million pounds of power and affected Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor with the sword puppet. Boom boom, two loud sounds rang out. Yi Feng and the other two were like three meteors crashing into each other in the air. There was an earth-shattering explosion, kicking up huge waves. Even though Mirror Moon Ancestor was only left with her soul, she was still terrifying. In addition, the Golden Battle God was extremely tough and powerful. When they clashed head-on, Yi Feng was blown away by the power of the Golden Battle God. But in the next moment, Yi Feng rushed over with the dragon spine, sacred sword in hand. The four great Tao diagrams surged into the dragon spine sacred sword like flowing water, amplifying the might of the sacred sword. He attacked the Golden Battle God with the sword puppet. Facing the attacks of Yi Feng and the sword puppet, Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor relied on the invincible defense of the Golden Battle God. She didn't dodge and allowed the attacks that could destroy mountains and cut rivers to hit her body. Die. While enduring the attacks of Yi Feng and the sword puppet, Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor slapped out across space. An unimaginable force surged out as the palm collapsed the void and struck Yi Feng and the other two. The might of this palm strike was so great that even a mighty figure in Nirvana would be severely injured. However, when it struck the sword puppet's body, it didn't shake it at all. Damn, isn't Yi Feng's avatar too terrifying? He used his body to withstand Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's attack without being damaged. How did he refine this avatar? Just as everyone was shocked by the terrifying sword puppet, Yi Feng took a step forward and flew into the air. He slashed out with his sword, causing the world to change. The heaven-collapsing sword with infinite destructive power tore through the sea of clouds and stirred up the sky as it slashed at the Golden Battle God's body. As far as the eye could see, the sky seemed to have completely collapsed from this strike. A terrifying spatial rift extended for hundreds of feet. Instantly, the world changed color as thunder roared and divine might shook the sky. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's empty eyes glanced at Yi Feng as she raised her golden right hand high and grabbed forward, shattering Yi Feng's sword beam. With Yi Feng's attack broken, the sword puppet held the Black Dragon Holy Sword and instantly slashed out 3 times at Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor. It wanted to forcefully break through the Golden Battle God's defense and attack Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's soul. However, the Golden Battle God's defense was too terrifying. The sword puppet burned its energy and held the Black Dragon Holy Sword, but it was unable to break through his defense. It was easily blocked. 8 directions killing fist. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor roared as she continuously used killer moves. Unparalleled fist beams shot out, causing the air to explode wherever they passed. Air currents surged as they continuously attacked Yi Feng and the sword puppet. The sword puppet relied on its indestructible body to block Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's 8 directions killing fist, but Yi Feng couldn't withstand it. He was sent flying by the killing fists. The Mirror Moon sect was indeed worthy of being the second strongest superpower in the Thunder Dominion. Their foundation was too terrifying. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's strength had probably surpassed Nirvana's, and the Golden Battle God's defense had definitely reached the level of a Saint artifact. Apart from the Thunder Dominion's Great Elder, no one could match it. Yes, they had thought that Yi Feng's victory was already in his grasp, but now, it seemed that the Mirror Moon sect was more terrifying. In today's farce, the Mirror Moon sect would probably have the last laugh. Seeing Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor suppress Yi Feng and the sword puppet, the onlookers discussed spiritedly. Hearing the discussions around him, Nan Gongzheng clenched his fists, his heart uneasy. At this time, he regretted his blind choice and even had thoughts of retreating. Once Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor killed Yi Chunfeng and the others, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Sword Puppet, help the Chaos Divine Beast kill Mirror Flower. Leave this ghost to me, Yi Chunfeng, as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and loudly ordered. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's order, the scene fell silent. Everyone's gaze turned to Yi Chunfeng. They wanted to know what methods he had to turn the tide at this time. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1288. Heavens, is Yi Chunfeng crazy? The two of us together weren't Mirror Moon's match, and now he dares to challenge him alone? Does he want to die? Have you ever seen a freak like Yi Chunfeng who thought his life was too short? If he dares to challenge Mirror Moon, he must have something to rely on. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng's face was slightly pale, but his fighting spirit was high, everyone's attention was focused on him. Big brother, what do you think Yi Chunfeng is relying on? Lei Zixin stared intently at Yi Chunfeng as she asked expectantly. I can't guess. The Mirror Moon primogenitor's strength was too terrifying, and the golden battle god he controlled was indestructible. Lei Zifin couldn't think of any method Yi Chunfeng could use to fight against him. Junior, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. The golden battle god's hollow eyes were filled with killing intent. He took a step forward, crossing dozens of feet in an instant. He appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng and unleashed a golden fist at Yi Chunfeng. He wanted to blow him apart. Sword Steps Mirror Moon's fist came, and Yi Chunfeng immediately used his sword steps to dodge. In an instant, his speed increased tenfold, and he brushed past Mirror Moon's golden fist light to get close to his body. Next, Yi Chunfeng merged with the power of the undead spirit pearl and unleashed a punch at Mirror Moon's body, hitting his golden battle armor. Relying on the golden battle god's invincible defense, the Mirror Moon ancestor blocked the power of Yi Chunfeng's punch. But the power of the undead spirit pearl went through the golden battle armor and into his body. No, what kind of power was this? Mirror Moon felt immense pain from the undead spirit pearl's attack. He let out a pained roar. Seeing that the undead spirit orb could deal fatal damage to the dead as he had imagined, Yi Chunfeng continued to fuse with the undead spirit orb. He continued to attack the golden battle god's body with heavy punches. Through the golden battle armor, he continuously damaged the Mirror Moon progenitor's soul and forced him to retreat. What was going on? Seeing Mirror Moon dodging left and right and howling in pain, everyone was dumbfounded. Mirror Moon, who had been insufferably arrogant and invincible, was instantly suppressed by Yi Chunfeng. He couldn't fight back at all. This scene completely overturned everyone's imaginations. What kind of power did Yi Chunfeng use? How could he turn the situation around so quickly? Lei Zixin opened her beautiful eyes wide and stared at Yi Chunfeng, who was constantly shaking her heart and stirring her interest as she muttered to herself. Sigh, compared to him, I'm too far. Lei's talent was shocking. Lei Zifin, who was known as the #1 expert of the Thunder Clan's younger generation, he rarely admired someone. But after witnessing Ye's performance was to be 8-directional punch. Mirror Moon, who had been continuously attacked by Yi Chunfeng and the undead spirit bead, launched a desperate counterattack. He instantly unleashed a dozen killing punches that sealed a large area of the void and bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Unable to dodge, Yi Chunfeng unleashed the sky-burning sacred flame and the purple beginning's sacred thunder at the powerful 8-direction killing fists. While weakening the 8-direction killing fists, Yi Chunfeng relied on the golden dragon robe and his physical body, which was comparable to a quasi-sage treasure, to take on the Mirror Moon primogenitor's killing move head-on. Boom, boom, boom. Thunderous explosions rang out in the sky. Yi Chunfeng was blown away by one of the killing punches, leaving behind a large amount of blood mist in the air. Will young master Yi be okay? Seeing Yi Chunfeng being blown away by Mirror Moon, Ruashi's charming face showed deep worry. He should be fine. Although he hadn't fought Mirror Moon, Jiuyao could feel how terrifying Mirror Moon's attacks were. Even if he faced Mirror Moon's attacks head-on, he would be heavily injured. Whoosh! Just as Ruashi and the others were worried for Yi Qianfeng summoned the golden wing feather. With a violent flap, he sent a gust of wind flying over. He fused the power of the undead spirit pearl and continued to attack. He was determined to destroy the Mirror Moon primogenitor's soul that was hidden inside the golden battle god. Let's see how many punches you can take. Mirror Moon didn't think Yi Qianfeng's defense would be so shocking. He was only lightly injured after taking the 8-directional punch head-on. She continued to use the 8-directional punch to kill Yi Qianfeng. Ancient Underworld song when Mirror Moon attacked with all her strength. The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and produced a large number of Dao runes. It played the Ancient Underworld song to attack Mirror Moon's soul in the Golden War God. Being attacked by the Ancient Underworld song, the Mirror Moon progenitor's attack was immediately affected. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Qianfeng pushed his attack speed to the limit. Streaks of fist radiance trailed behind them as they attacked the golden battle god. They passed through his indestructible body and damaged the Mirror Moon progenitor. Her soul injury became more and more severe. She roared in pain and suddenly ignited her powerful soul. She raised her strength to the limit and counterattacked with all her strength. She was determined to kill Yi Qianfeng. Yi Qianfeng relied on his powerful defense and the pearls of dead spirit to fight against Mirror Moon primogenitor. The Chaos Divine Beast and the Sword Spirit Puppet worked together to continuously injure Mirror Moon primogenitor and cut off his life force. Die, old bastard! When the Sword Puppet forced Mirror Moon enlightened being back, the Chaos Divine Beast erupted with over 100 million gene of strength. It raised the ancient bronze coffin high up and smashed down on him. Mirror Moon enlightened being who was heavily injured and unable to dodge was smashed to the ground. His right arm that he used all his strength to defend exploded. Great Ancestor seeing Mirror Moon enlightened being fall to the ground. The disciples of the Mirror Moon sect cried out in grief. The sense of superiority that the Mirror Moon sect gave them was completely shattered. All that was left in their hearts was fear and helplessness. The chaotic space trembled. The Sword Puppet and the Black Dragon Holy Sword fused together, becoming an invincible godly sword. It slashed at Mirror Moon enlightened being who was smashed into the ground. The sword split open his body and destroyed his lower body. Go to hell. The Chaos Divine Beast threw out the ancient bronze coffin with all his strength. Before Mirror Moon enlightened being could self-destruct, it destroyed his head and ended his life. Seeing Mirror Moon enlightened being killed by the Chaos Divine Beast and the Sword Puppet, Jing Qian, who was using all his strength to defend against Marquis Qianming's attack, fell into a panic. At this time, he could only place all his hopes on Mirror Moon enlightened being. But when he looked at the sky, his hopes were shattered. This was because he saw Mirror Moon enlightened being's greatest support, Mirror Moon enlightened being, get blown hundreds of feet away by Yi Qianfeng's punch, which was filled with the power of death. He slammed into a tall mountain in the distance, shattering the entire mountain. How could this be? How could his strength be so terrifying? Jing Qian's heart was in a mess. The development of the battle had far exceeded his expectations. The power and trump cards that Yi Qianfeng and the others had displayed made him feel even more hopeless. What treasure do you have on you? Mirror Moon enlightened being was very confident in the golden battle god's defenses. Even ordinary saint treasures would find it difficult to break through the golden battle god's defenses. However, Yi Qianfeng's punch had easily pierced through the golden battle god and damaged his soul. This made him suspect that Yi Qianfeng had a shocking treasure on him. You talk too much crap. Yi Qianfeng replied coldly. He transformed into a golden beam of light in midair and continued attacking Mirror Moon enlightened being. Under Yi Qianfeng's tide-like attacks, the golden battle god was sent flying again and again, crashing into the towering mountains around Mirror Moon enlightened being. Mirror Moon, enlightened being, who was hiding in the golden battle god, had his soul shattered by the power of the dead spirit bead. He could barely hold on. Kid, go to hell. With his soul shattered and unable to withstand Yi Chunfeng's ferocious attacks, Mirror Moon, who was on the verge of death, let out a shrill cry. He suddenly flew out of the golden battle god and transformed into a beam of soul light that attacked Yi Chunfeng's mind. On the brink of death, he wanted to tear apart Yi Chunfeng's soul and kill him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record your reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1289. You're too naive. I've been waiting for this moment. Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smile. The God-Eater brain appeared in his mind and turned into a black hole that devoured the Mirror Moon primogenitor's soul. Universe Realm, take. After killing the Mirror Moon primogenitor's soul, the golden battle god had become an ownerless item. Yi Chunfeng immediately put it into the Universe Realm and prepared to refine it in the future. The God-Eater brain was going to split into a child brain again. After devouring the Mirror Moon primogenitor's soul, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly discovered that the God-Eater brain had started to split into a child brain. He was pleasantly surprised by this. If the God-Eater brain split into another child brain, he could use this child brain to control a Nirvana Realm expert. He could also use this child brain to control the Golden Battle God. He really killed the primogenitor. Feeling the Mirror Moon primogenitor's aura disappear, Yi Chunfeng took the Mirror Moon Sect's number 1 divine item, the Golden Battle God. Jing Qian fell into a panic. As for the experts of the various factions who were watching from afar, they were also shocked by Yi Chunfeng's methods. They looked at him with reverence. Wait, stop fighting. With his last pillar of support destroyed, Jing Qian, who was riddled with wounds, was in despair. He hurriedly shouted, "Do you have any last words?" Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and stabilized his injuries. He stepped on the void and slowly walked over. He looked at Jing Qian, whose face was pale and whose eyes were twitching violently as he tried to suppress the fear in his heart, and asked in a low voice, My Mirror Moon sect admits defeat and is willing to submit to you. Please spare our lives." In the face of death, Jing Qian didn't care about his face and begged for mercy. "I can spare the lives of your Mirror Moon sect members, but I must take your life," Yi Chunfeng said mercilessly. He couldn't stay in the Thunder Dominion for too long. He couldn't leave behind such a large hidden danger for the Zhou family. You really want to kill me?" Jing Qian's expression changed. He glared at Yi Chunfeng with his blood-red eyes and roared, "You will die without a doubt." With that, Yi Chunfeng, the Chaos Divine Beast, the Sword Puppet, and the Marquis of Qianming attacked at the same time. "Yi Chunfeng, you will die a horrible death. Even if I become a ghost, I will not let you off." Jing Qian let out an angry roar and was about to explode all the Tao energy in his body to unleash his most fatal attack. However, the attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the other three were too terrifying. Before he could self-destruct, his body was shattered by Yi Chunfeng and the other three. His soul was destroyed, and not even his bones were left. He won. He really won. After witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng mercilessly killing Jing Qian, Nangong Zheng gulped, and large amounts of sweat appeared on his forehead. His heart was filled with lingering fear. At this moment, he was very glad. He was glad that he listened to Nangong Qingshue's words. If he stubbornly insisted on helping the Mirror Moon sect deal with Yi Chunfeng, he believed that with Yi Chunfeng's ruthless methods, he would end up the same as Jing Qian. Just as he was secretly rejoicing, he suddenly realized that Yi Chunfeng's cold eyes were looking at him, causing him to tremble in fear. "Patriarch Nangong, what else do you have to say now?" Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood like a blood-soaked Azura, slowly walked in front of Nangong Zheng and asked in a low voice, "Young Master Yi, I agree to marry Qingxue to Zhou Tianyi." Although Yi Chunfeng looked like he was only a level 5 combat beast emperor, and Nangong Zheng was a Nirvana almighty and the patriarch of the Nangong family, after witnessing the scene just now, Nangong Zheng was really scared. He felt a huge amount of pressure when facing Yi Qinfeng, afraid that he would attack him. Young Master Yi, aren't you going to ask me how I feel? Nangong Qingxue, who was wearing light makeup, looked straight at Yi Qinfeng and said emotionlessly, I am a person, not a bargaining chip for you. Staring at Nangong Qingxue's beautiful face, Yi Qinfeng's brows furrowed together, not knowing how to answer. When Nangong Zheng saw Yi Qinfeng's silent expression, his heart was in his throat. Yi Qinfeng dared to start a massacre in the Mirror Moon sect, so he wouldn't hesitate to kill him. Miss Nangong, although I like you a lot, I won't force you to marry me. Zhou Qianni took a deep breath, slowly walked over and said, Since you don't like me, then I hope you can find true happiness. After speaking, Zhou Qianni looked at the silent Yi Qinfeng and said, Big brother, let's go. Wait a minute. Hearing Zhou Qianni's affectionate words, Nangong Qingxue's heart trembled. She looked at Zhou Qianni's tall and straight body and suddenly shouted, Miss Nangong, what else do you want? Zhou Qianni endured the sadness in his heart, turned around, and asked softly, Young Master Zhou, I indeed have complaints in my heart, but they are not directed at you. Today, you are willing to fight a life and death battle for me. I am truly moved. I wonder if you can make me change my feelings for you into feelings? Nangong Qingxue smiled sweetly and said with a gentle voice, Zhou Qianni's dead eyes were filled with life. All the cells in his body became active at this moment, and said without hesitation. Nangong Qingfeng's deep eyes emitted rays of light, deeply looked at Nangong Qingxue, who was like a cold and arrogant winter sweet. He revealed a faint smile and said, You are a smart person, very good. Thank you, young Master Yi, for your praise, but compared to Yi Qinfeng, I am still too far behind. Nangong Qingxue said neither arrogantly nor humbly. No, you are not inferior to anyone. If one day you can really walk together with Tianni, I believe that one day you two will be able to stand at the top of the world hand in hand. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said expectantly, Young Master Yi, today's battle has too great an impact. Please forgive me for having to report the truth when I return. After the dust settled, Lei Zifen and Lei Zixin walked over. Lei Zifen adjusted his internal breath and said politely. Lei Zixin's beautiful big eyes kept sizing up Yi Qinfeng, as if she wanted to see through him. Rest assured, young Master Lei, if there's a chance, I will personally go to the Thunder Clan and give you an explanation. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said softly, Then us brother and sister will wait for young Master Ye's arrival in Holy Thunder City. Finished speaking, Lei Zifen and his sister, under the escort of several Thunder Clan experts, left the Mirror Moon sect that was filled with a thick smell of blood. After Lei Zifen and the others left, the experts from various major forces who came to congratulate the Mirror Moon sect also left one after another. However, there were still many people who had the courage to come up and exchange greetings, expressing their goodwill to Yi Qinfeng. As the people who supported Yi Qinfeng, Yin Ruoshi, Yin Jiuyao, and the others all revealed a smile. They knew that they had made the right bet. With Yi Qinfeng's current influence, he could definitely bring unimaginable benefits and returns to the Earthine sect. Senior Yin, Sect Master Yin, thank you for helping Yi Qinfeng this time. Yi Qinfeng came to the side of the mature Yin Ruoshi and said, At that time, I promised you that I would raise the Earthine sect's overall strength by a large margin in a short period of time. Now is the time to fulfill my promise. Young Master Yi, Yin Ruoshi's charming eyes lit up with rays of light. The Mirror Moon sect's treasure house is yours. Yi Qinfeng took away the relics of Jing Kahan and the others. He didn't want the Mirror Moon sect's treasure house anymore, and gave them to the Earthine sect. Really, thank you so much, young Master Yi. Yin Ruoshi glanced at the Mirror Moon sect experts who were angry but didn't dare to speak. She smiled charmingly. The charm in her eyes seemed to want to melt Yi Qinfeng's bones. In a small talk, asking for red envelopes. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1290. The news of Yi Chunfeng destroying the Mirror Moon sect spread like wildfire through the entire Lightning Dominion, causing the entire Lightning Dominion to be shocked. As for Yi Chunfeng's methods, they became even more mysterious. Some people said that Yi Chunfeng was the reincarnation of an ancient expert and had the ability to overturn rivers and seas. Others said that Yi Chunfeng was a divine beast that had lived for who knew how many years and could swallow the Nirvana expert in one gulp. Even the Lightning Clan had to be wary of him. Just as Yi Chunfeng's fame was becoming more and more resounding, the entire Thunder Clan fell into a huge dispute over the matter of the Mirror Moon sect being destroyed. Clan head, this Yi Chunfeng is too arrogant. He openly destroyed the situation of our Thunder Domain and started a massacre in the Mirror Moon sect. He does not place our Thunder Clan in his eyes at all. This person must be eliminated. The Thunder Clan's first elder, Lei Chun, said angrily with a sullen expression. The reason why Lei Chun hated Yi Chunfeng so much was because he had always wanted to become the Lightning Clan's clan leader. The Mirror Moon sect was one of his important hidden chess pieces. Now, this important hidden chess piece had been destroyed by Yi Chunfeng, which greatly reduced the power he controlled. That was why he wanted to eliminate Yi Chunfeng to vent his hatred. First Elder, this Yi Chunfeng is not an ordinary person. The power he controls is very terrifying. It is not a wise choice for us to rashly deal with him. After personally witnessing how terrifying Yi Chunfeng is, Lei Zifen was not willing for the Lightning Clan to have a direct conflict with Yi Chunfeng. Why? Do you think that my Thunder Clan will be afraid of a junior who is still wet behind the ears? Lei Chun sneered. With the Thunder Clan as his backing, he did not put Yi Chunfeng in his eyes at all. Great Elder, I did not say that the Thunder Clan would be afraid of Yi Chunfeng. I just feel that if we were to engage in a direct confrontation with him, it would only be bad for the Thunder Clan. Hearing the anger in Lei Chen's words, Lei Zifen was not angry. He said calmly, if we were to recklessly kill Yi Chunfeng, it is very likely that we would anger the power behind him. At that time, it is very likely that it would cause unnecessary trouble for the Thunder Clan. Then you mean to say that we should allow him to do as he pleases in my Lightning Dominion? Lawless said in a gloomy voice. That Yi Chunfeng said that he would come to my Lightning Clan to give us an explanation. Lei Zifen said, Humph. Lei Chun snorted coldly and said, aren't you a bit too naive? Regardless of whether the First Elder believes it or not, I believe that he will definitely come. Lei Zifen said indifferently. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. Looking at the two people who were tit for tat, the Thunder Clan's patriarch Lei Zhongtong, who had been silent all this time, said, we will wait for him in Holy Thunder City for 3 months. If he does not come in 3 months, I will personally go to Yizhou City to see him. Okay, at that time, I will accompany you, Patriarch. Lei Chun sneered in his heart. In his heart, he had already sentenced Yi Chunfeng to death. While the entire Thunder Dominion was talking about Yi Chunfeng, talking about how he had swept through the Mirror Moon sect, killed the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor, and the Mirror's flower, water, moon, and Jing Jinhan's deeds, Yi Chunfeng, who had returned to Yizhou City, immediately went into seclusion in his room. Break! The power of the God-Eater brain erupted and blasted into the yin and yang rings left behind by the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor. It broke through the powerful restrictions and checked their belongings. This Mirror Moon sect was indeed the second most powerful sect in the Lightning Dominion. Its foundation was indeed extraordinary. Yi Chunfeng found that among the belongings of the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor, there were large amounts of supreme grade soul crystals, Tao tools, Tao pills, heaven and earth spirit herbs, Tao arts and Tao techniques, and large amounts of hidden stones. However, Yi Chunfeng's standards were very high. Apart from the 2 quasi-sacred treasures, the Void Light Mirror and the Sky-Breaking Hammer, as well as the number 1 treasure of the Mirror Moon sect, the Golden Battle God, no other treasures could enter his eyes. However, the thousands of hidden stones of different sizes made him very interested. He controlled the God-Eater brain to force it into the hidden stones to check the treasures inside. The power of life. This hidden stone contains powerful life force. When the God-Eater brain rapidly deduced and checked more than 60 hidden stones, it felt a faint life force in an egg-sized hidden stone. Dragon Spine's sacred sword break. Yi Chen-Feng summoned the Dragon's Pine sacred sword and continuously attacked this extremely hard treasure-storing stone. After expending a tremendous amount of effort, he finally broke open the extremely hard stone shell of the treasure-storing stone and found an extremely precious longevity fruit inside. However, this longevity fruit had not fully matured, so the life force it contained was far inferior to the one Yi Chen-Feng had obtained earlier. According to his estimation, this longevity fruit was at most equivalent to the 3 fruits of life that he had. It could only increase his lifespan by about 5,000 years. However, this did not affect the value of this longevity fruit. If this longevity fruit was spread to the outside world, there would definitely be people willing to exchange sacred elixirs for it. After cutting out a longevity fruit, Yi Chen-Feng controlled the God-Eater brain to continue sensing the hidden stones one by one. Soon, he found a treasure that attracted him in another hidden stone. Supreme Force. How could there be supreme force in this hidden stone? With curiosity, Yi Chen-Feng used all his strength to attack with the Dragon Spine sacred sword and forcibly broke open the stone inscription. In this hidden stone, he found a dark gray fruit that looked like a walnut with a bumpy surface. Supreme Force Fruit. This was a Supreme Force fruit. Staring at this dark gray fruit, the information of this fruit immediately appeared in the God-Eater brain. This fruit was a strange fruit that contained supreme force. It should have been extinct in the Duhan continent. With this supreme force fruit, Yi Chen-Feng was confident that he could cultivate his supreme force body to the 2nd level. He could further enhance his physical strength and enhance his own strength. The hidden stones that were unique to the lightning territory were too magical. He had no idea how these stones were formed. There were actually so many extinct treasures in them. After storing the supreme force fruit in a jade box that was filled with spirituality, Yi Chen-Feng continued to control the God-Eater brain to sense the hidden stones one by one. Soon, a few hours passed. Yi Chen-Feng used the God-Eater brain's heaven-defying ability to sense the thousands of hidden stones. He obtained a total of more than 20 valuable natural wonders. After sealing these natural wonders in the jade box, Yi Chen-Feng first dripped his blood on the golden battle god to claim ownership of it. He found out that it was a clone of a low-grade sage artifact. Its attack power was close to the level of a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert. After absorbing the golden battle god into his body and refining it, Yi Chen-Feng took out the supreme force fruit and swallowed it. He circulated the 9 transformations divine change and forcefully refined the supreme force contained in the supreme force fruit into the Yongquan acupoint at the bottom of his feet. He then transformed the true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint. In the beginning, he had refined many body-tempering spiritual items. The true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint had already begun to transform. Now that he had refined the supreme force fruit, the transformation speed of the true spirit pearl was even faster. After nearly 20 days of refinement, the true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint had finally completed its final transformation. It had transformed into a supreme force pearl. After cultivating to the 2nd level of the supreme force body, Yi Chen-Feng's physical defense didn't increase significantly. However, his physical strength had increased by 20 million pounds. After the amplification of the Godfiend bloodline, it had almost reached 250 million pounds of strength. He could severely injure Nirvana experts with one punch. Not long after Yi Chen-Feng broke through to the 2nd level of the Supreme Force body, the God-Eater brain had completely refined the Mirror Moon ancestor's soul and bred a brand new soul Eater Child brain. Suddenly, the communication disc in his arms lit up. The Black Lightning King had finished dealing with important matters and contacted Yi Chen-Feng. In the communication with the Black Lightning King, Yi Chen-Feng didn't hide the fact that he had defeated the Mirror Moon sect and killed Jing Qian and the others. To Yi Chen-Feng's surprise, the Black Lightning King didn't blame Yi Chen-Feng. Instead, he asked him for a very important matter. "Senior, You're making things difficult for me." After ending the communication with the Black Lightning King, Yi Chenfeng shook his head and smiled bitterly. He took out his communication bead and contacted Yin Ruashi. He asked her to go to the Mirror Moon sect and the Nangong family to get some important things for him. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Say button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1291. Young Master Yi, these are the things you need. I brought them for you. Yin Ruashi, who was wearing a tight black dress and had a voluptuous figure, came to Yi Chenfeng's western courtyard and handed him a spatial ring. Thank you for your trouble. Yi Chenfeng released his soul power into the spatial ring and found several memory stones and soul jade slips. When he released his soul power into the memory stones and soul jade slips, he revealed a satisfied smile. Young Master Yi, are you really going to deal with the Thunder Clan? Thinking about the items in the spatial ring, Yin Ruashi asked worriedly. The Thunder Clan was different from the Mirror Moon sect. The Thunder Clan was the absolute overlord of the Thunder Dominion. They even had a Nirvana realm expert. Even the three divine kingdoms weren't willing to have a direct conflict with the Thunder Clan. Don't worry, I won't mess around. Yi Chenfeng smiled. 2 days later, a luxurious spirit boat left Izhou City, heading towards the source of the Thunder Territory's spirit veins, the most famous city in the Thunder Territory, Holy Thunder City. The Thunder Dominion was extremely vast, and Zhou Memory City was relatively remote. With the speed of the spirit boat, it took 2 days and 2 nights to reach the territory of Saint Thunder City. At this time, the sky was getting dark and the sun was setting in the west. Yi Chenfeng kept the spirit boat and walked with the spirit fish to a picturesque town built in a canyon not far from St. Thunder City. They planned to stay for the night and enter St. Thunder City the next morning. Big Brother Chenfeng, this clear gorge town is so beautiful. Walking into the ancient town built in the canyon, the spirit fish immediately fell in love with this place. Its beautiful eyes curved into crescent moons. After walking around for a while, Yi Chenfeng and Ling Yu arrived at a quiet inn built in the middle of a garden with a flowing stream. They prepared to settle down for a rest. I'm sorry, but our inn has been booked by young Master Dongfang. If you want to stay, please look elsewhere. At this time, a beautiful young woman with a graceful figure and heavy makeup exuding a strong fragrance walked out of the inn and said apologetically, "Let's go, spirit fish." Yi Chenfeng wasn't an unreasonable person. He didn't insist and left with the spirit fish. Hold on, suddenly, a low voice sounded. A man with a slightly pale face, wearing a gorgeous long robe, a crown on his head, and a pair of python scale boots walked down the wooden stairs with a petite woman in a tulle short skirt. Her breasts were about to burst out of her chest. When he saw the spirit fish wearing a floral dress, with a pair of big watery eyes embedded in her fair little face and delicate pink cheeks, as if water could be squeezed out with a pinch, his eyes immediately lit up. Have something to do? Chenfeng frowned slightly as he looked at the man in a luxurious robe who was staring at the spiritual fish with a fiery gaze. I am Dongfang Zhua, the second young master of the Holy Thunder City's Dongfang clan. May I know if it is possible for me to get acquainted with this young lady? The well-dressed man let go of the delicate and pretty girl in his embrace. He slowly walked over and spoke in an arrogant manner. No, the spirit fish shook its head and refused. Ha! Gunyang is indeed a forthright person. Dongfang Zhuo laughed aloud and said, how should I put it? Meeting is fate. I feel that Gunyang and I feel like old friends at first sight. We will definitely become friends. Are you crazy? Who is fate with you? The spirit fish rolled its eyes at him and said rudely. A white-haired level 6 combat beast emperor elder behind the man in a luxurious robe shouted, Little girl, there are some people you can't afford to offend. You'd better not find trouble for yourself. Elder Ting, the ignorant are not guilty. Don't scare the man in a luxurious robe. The corner of his eyes twitched as he spoke in a seemingly magnanimous manner. Are you trying to hit on me? The spirit fish's eyes flashed a trace of craftiness. She looked at the man in a luxurious robe and suddenly said, "Hmm?" The man in a luxurious robe was startled. He didn't expect the spirit fish to be so direct. The delicate and pretty girl standing beside him revealed an angry expression and looked at the spirit fish with hostility. "It's fine if you don't dare to admit it." The spirit fish curled her lips and said, "Coward. Gunyong, I admit that I fell in love with you at first sight. I like you very much." The man in a luxurious robe revealed a smile that he thought was very handsome. He hurriedly said, "I feel that such a beautiful girl like you, only I can match up to you." The spirit fish let out a series of crisp laughter, her plump breasts moving up and down. The man in a luxurious robe's eyeballs almost fell out. Sigh. Looking at the spirit fish's childlike innocence, Yi Chen-feng shook his head. With his understanding of the spirit fish, he knew that the man in a luxurious robe was going to suffer. Come here. Let me have a good look at you." The spirit fish hooked her finger and said in a coquettish voice. When the man in a luxurious robe narrowed his eyes and moved his face closer, the spirit fish suddenly changed her expression. She raised her chubby little hand and slapped the man in a luxurious robe's cheek. "I'll kill you, you pervert." Second young master. The white-haired old man's expression changed when he saw the man in luxurious robes being sent flying by the spiritual fish and smashing several wooden tables. He immediately appeared beside him and helped the man up. His cheeks were caved in and blood was flowing out of his mouth. The delicate and pretty girl was even more frightened by the scene in front of her. She screamed, "Damn it, Stinky, how dare you hit me?" The man in a luxurious robe spat out 2 broken teeth stained with blood. He glared at the spirit fish with his blood-red eyes and roared angrily, "Elder Ting, catch her for me. Tonight, I'll kill her. You bunch of trash." The spiritual fish looked contemptuously at the white-haired old man who was filled with murderous intent. Stepping on the 8 divine ape shadows, the spiritual fish turned into a blur and punched the old man's chest. Feeling the power of the spirit fish's punch, the white-haired old man's expression changed. He immediately overlapped his hands in front of him and gathered the thunder Tao diagram in his palms to block the spirit fish's punch. Boom! After receiving the spirit fish's punch, the thunder Tao diagram that the white-haired old man condensed was immediately broken. The power of more than 100 million pounds was like a boiling tide, breaking his arms. The punch sent him flying and smashing into a jade wall dozens of meters away. He fell to the ground and lost his ability to fight. Goo! The man in a luxurious robe did not expect the spirit fish to be so powerful that the white-haired old man, who was a level 6 combat beast emperor, could not block her punch. He could not help but gulp. Hearing the loud noise from the front hall of the inn, many experts of the Dongfang clan appeared. However, before they could attack, Yi Chen-feng appeared in front of them and threw them out of the inn one by one like throwing chickens. You better not mess around. I am the second young master of the Dongfang clan. If you hurt me, I promise you that you will die without a burial place." The man in a luxurious robe was scared when he saw the spirit fish walking towards him slowly. He had no choice but to use his identity and background to pressure the spirit fish. What is the Dongfang clan? I have never heard of it." After saying that, the spirit fish waved her small fists and started beating the man in a luxurious robe. Soon, he was lying on the ground, crying for his father and mother. "Miss, I was wrong. I beg you to spare me. I will never dare to provoke you again." The man in a luxurious robe curled up and covered his head with his hands as he begged for mercy. "All right, spirit fish, let's go." Yi Chen-feng looked at the man in a luxurious robe who was groaning in pain with a bruised nose and a swollen face. What a trash. The spirit fish snorted softly and kicked him away. Under the gazes of many people, she left with Yi Chen-feng. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1292. Let's go and find another place to stay. Yi Chen-feng had learned about the situation in Holy Thunder City from Inruashi. He knew that there were 4 big families in Holy Thunder City apart from the Thunder Clan. The Dongfang family was one of the 4 big families in Holy Thunder City. Their overall strength ranked second among the 4 big families, second only to the Zhao family, which had 2 old ancestors from Nirvana. Although they had just had a conflict with the Dongfang family, Yi Chenfeng did not take them seriously. He left the messy inn with Lingyu and looked for a place to stay. Well, the treasure building. As they walked, Yi Chenfeng found an inconspicuous treasure building shrouded in a powerful restriction formation. In the treasure building, Yi Chenfeng's powerful soul sensed the aura of the treasure stone. Thinking about the miraculous effects of the treasure stone, Yi Chenfeng held onto the spirit fish's small, white hand and walked into the treasure building. He saw that in a wooden cabinet made of ancient wood, there were dozens of treasure stones of different sizes. A charming woman wearing a tight black miniskirt that outlined her exquisite figure, with the hem of the skirt just covering her thighs, wrapped around her round buttocks, and exposed her snow-white chest. She wore a huge ruby and had light makeup on her face, was choosing the treasure stones. When Yi Chenfeng saw her, his pupils contracted unconsciously. He felt a strong sense of danger from her hot body. Glancing at the charming woman who was extremely dangerous, Yi Chenfeng looked at the hundreds of treasure stones and controlled the God-Eater brain to sense the treasures in the stones. Boss, how much is this treasure stone? With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chenfeng locked on to a fist-sized treasure stone that was full of bumps and corners. 10 million upper-grade soul crystals. The white-haired old man who gave off a shrewd vibe slowly said, "Okay, I'll buy this treasure stone." Without any hesitation, Yi Chenfeng took out a universe ring with 10 million upper-grade soul crystals and handed it to the old man. He bought the treasure stone and was about to leave. The charming woman raised her head to look at Yi Chenfeng and suddenly called out to him. "Is something the matter?" Yi Chenfeng asked softly, his expression unchanged. "I really like that storage stone you just bought. I'll give you 11 million high-grade soul crystals. Give it to me." The charming woman looked at Yi Chenfeng's handsome face and said in a commanding tone, "Sorry, I'm not selling." Yi Chenfeng shook his head and directly refused. With that, Yi Chenfeng left with the spirit fish without any hesitation. Looking at the back view of Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish, the charming woman's eyes turned cold. A trace of killing intent flashed across her eyes. "Brother Chenfeng, what is so special about this stone?" Walking out of the treasure pavilion, the spirit fish blinked its beautiful eyes and asked curiously, "If I'm not wrong, this stone contains life?" Yi Chenfeng transmitted his voice. Life was the rarest thing in the Fighting Soul continent. However, he was able to find life in the storage stone, which made him very interested in it. If it's a life item, then we've struck gold. The spirit fish's beautiful eyes sparkled. "Indeed, we've struck gold." Yi Chenfeng nodded his head. After leaving the treasure pavilion, Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish found a relatively quiet inn to rest. After settling down, Yi Chenfeng set up a soundproof restriction in the room. Holding the dragon spine's sacred sword, he forcefully broke open the hard surface of the storage stone and found 3 blood-red drops of life essence in the stone. Life essence. Each drop could increase one's lifespan by 5,000 years. Yi Chenfeng used the God-Eater brain to sense for a while and confirmed that each drop of life essence could increase one's lifespan by 5,000 years. The value of each drop was no less than a divine elixir pill. My feeling was right. This treasure storing stone is definitely hiding something good. Suddenly, a strange sound rang out, and a gap appeared in the soundproof restriction in the room. That sexy and alluring woman appeared in Yi Chenfeng's room out of nowhere. "You still came," Yi Chenfeng said calmly as he stored the 3 drops of life spirit liquid into the universe mirror. Then, he looked at the beautiful woman with snow-white skin. "Why? Did you expect me to come?" The charming woman's blood-red lips curled up slightly, revealing a smile. "Although you try to hide it, you still couldn't hide your murderous aura. This is enough to prove that you're a person who kills people like scything flax. People like you usually ignore restrictions and won't give up until they reach their goal." Yi Chenfeng looked at her calmly as he analyzed the situation. Ha ha ha. Then are you afraid of me? The charming woman suddenly burst into a smile that was even more flirtatious than a flower. Her towering breasts also moved up and down with her laughter. What do you think? Yi Chunfeng asked with a calm expression, smiling faintly. Interesting. You're really interesting. The charming woman said playfully, now I can't bear to kill you. You can't kill me. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said with an unquestionable tone, really? Then I'd like to try. The charming woman's charming eyes revealed a strong, murderous aura. An extremely cold force locked onto Yi Chunfeng like a poisonous snake. Brother Qingfeng, what happened? Just as the battle was about to start, the spiritual fish sensed the abnormality and rushed in. When she saw the charming woman full of murderous aura, a terrifying power erupted from her petite body. Brother Qingfeng, Chengfeng. Hearing the way the spirit fish addressed Yi Chunfeng, looking at his young and handsome face, as well as his calm demeanor in the face of chaos, the charming woman suddenly thought of the most popular person in the Lightning region recently. You're Yi Chunfeng. The charming woman looked at Yi Chunfeng and guessed his identity. It's me. Yi Chunfeng nodded. I didn't expect us to meet in this way. After confirming Yi Chunfeng's identity, the charming woman frowned slightly, but there was no fear on her face. You are? Looking at the unfamiliar charming woman, Yi Chunfeng asked in a low voice. The heartbroken and charming woman introduced herself. Great ferocious, heartbroken Yi Chunfeng was slightly surprised. He didn't expect that one of the Thunderfield's 3 ferocious heartbroken was actually a woman. Moreover, it was a charming young woman. Forget it. Today I'll give you face and won't take the treasure you cut out from the storage stone. But you have to help me pick one. Great ferocious heartbroken smiled enchantingly. Okay, deal. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, tomorrow morning, I'll help you pick one. Yi Chunfeng, the night is long. I don't know if you're lonely. Do you want Big Sister to stay with you? Heartbroken used her slender fingers to fiddle with her long hair and said seductively, no need, I don't want to be killed in my sleep. Although Heartbroken was very charming, Yi Chunfeng knew that she was a beautiful snake that ate people without spitting out the bones. He shook his head and refused. You really don't want to think about it? Big Sister is very gentle. Heartbroken showed a charming smile and said seductively, get out. Before Yi Chunfeng could say anything, the spirit fish couldn't stand it anymore. She stared at him with her beautiful big eyes and said with hostility, so you like this kind of girl? Heartbroken looked at the chubby and cute face of a spirit fish and said with a smile. After saying that, Duan Chong glanced at the angry and blushing Ling Yu. He left behind a charming smile and turned to leave. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click the save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1293. Early in the morning, everything came back to life, and the morning sun shone on the earth. Yi Chunfeng and Ling Yu walked out of the inn in high spirits. They saw Heartbroken Intestine, who was wearing a black chi pao and had a graceful figure, waiting outside the inn. If you can help me pick a valuable hidden stone, I will owe you a favor and repay you in the future. Heartbroken Intestine fiddled with her long hair and walked over slowly. Her seductive voice made one's imagination run wild. Why do you trust me so much? Yi Chunfeng asked softly as he looked at Heartbroken Intestine's charming face. I believe that Heartbroken Intestine won't misjudge you, she said with a smile. Let's go to the treasure pavilion and pick a hidden stone for you. Then, we will go our separate ways. Yi Chunfeng said with a calm expression as he slowly walked towards the treasure pavilion. On the way to the treasure pavilion, Yi Chunfeng noticed that someone was secretly following him. However, he did not care. After arriving at the treasure pavilion, he picked out an egg-sized, glossy, dark brown treasure stone for Duan Chong among the hundreds of treasure stones of various shapes. Heartbroken Intestine trusted Yi Chunfeng very much. She paid 10 million high-grade soul crystals to buy this hidden stone. When they left the treasure pavilion, they found that it was blocked by dozens of powerful and ferocious men. They're here for you. Heartbroken Intestine turned to look at Yi Chunfeng, who had a calm expression. Her red lips curled up slightly as she asked with a faint smile. I think so. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said calmly. Do you want me to help you? Heartbroken asked. No need. I can solve this small problem myself. Although there were two Nirvana realm almighties among the dozens of murderous experts, Yi Chunfeng could crush the Nirvana realm almighties with just his physical body after cultivating his aura body to the second level. Not to mention that he still had the sword spirit puppet and the golden battle god that was being constantly refined. Since you don't want me to help you, I will help you. Heartbroken Intestine said seductively. Her every frown and smile was captivating. Do you still want to run after offending my Dongfang family? A Nirvana realm mortal realm expert with a square face and an obvious scar at the corner of his eye glared at Yi Chunfeng and Ling Yu, who were standing outside the treasure pavilion, and said in a cold voice, Why should we run? Yi Chunfeng asked coldly as he looked at the experts of the Dongfang clan. A bunch of ants. No need to talk nonsense. With that, a powerful aura emanated from Heartbreak's body. This aura was so strong that it was comparable to the Mirror Moon Sect's Grand Elder Mirror Flower Sage. It was even stronger than the insect demon that Yi Chunfeng had killed. Miss, this is the enmity between my Dongfang clan and them. Please don't interfere. Sensing the aura emitted from Duan Chang's body, the Dongfang clan's expert felt a sense of suffocation. His heart trembled as he hurriedly spoke. What is the Dongfang family? Duan Chang said contemptuously. He held a pair of quasi-holy treasure, full moon scimitars, and attacked dozens of masters of the Dongfang family with strong killing intent. Chi suddenly. Blood splattered everywhere and screams filled the sky. Under the attack of Duan Chang's full moon scimitars, the line of defense of dozens of masters of the Dongfang family was forcibly torn apart. Duan Chang was like a grim reaper with a scythe, constantly reaping the lives of the masters of the Dongfang family. And the people that Duan Chang killed were all cut into pieces by the full moon scimitars. Their internal organs flowed all over the ground, making people shudder. You're the great evil Duan Chang. Just now, the two Nirvana mighty figures of the Dongfang family felt that Duan Chang looked familiar, but they didn't think too much about it. But after seeing Duan Chang's iconic full moon scimitars and ruthless means, they finally guessed the identity of this demoness in front of them. They were instantly scared silly. Dead people don't need to know who I am, Duan Chang said heartlessly. His plump body spun in a circle on the spot that was covered in blood and immediately split into dozens of incomparably sharp blade lights. Like wind blades, they attacked the experts of the Dongfang clan who were dodging in panic. In the blink of an eye, the dozens of masters of the Dongfang family who came to kill Yi Chunfeng and Ling Yu were only left with two wounded Nirvana mighty figures who were covered in blood. The others were all dismembered and fell in a pool of blood. They couldn't be more dead. Senior Duan Chang, we didn't mean to offend you. Please spare our lives for the sake of the Dongfang family. The masters they brought were turned into dismembered corpses in the blink of an eye. The two Nirvana mighty figures were completely scared silly, facing the great evil Duan Chang. They couldn't be tough and kept begging for mercy. You don't deserve to be spared, Duan Chang said coldly and mercilessly. He suddenly tossed out two full moon scimitars. They were like two strange stars as they tore apart the hard space and attacked the two Nirvana realm experts that were heavily injured. What a terrifying attack. The moment Duan Chang threw out the two full moon scimitars, Yi Chunfeng's eyes revealed a strange color. He had a feeling that if he faced Duan Chang head-on, with his strength and defense, he wouldn't be able to withstand this attack. Boom boom like a hot knife through butter, the full moon scimitar directly broke through their defenses and blasted their bodies, directly turning the two Nirvana realm almighties into two clouds of blood mist, which then spread out in the chaotic void. Like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves, Duan Chang used a demonic art that was like a black hole, crazily devouring the drifting death chi and blood chi in the air and fusing them into her body. The next moment, three faintly discernible halos full of death chi appeared behind Duan Chang. As the death chi and blood chi fused, The three halos became more and more powerful. Duan Chong wasn't simple. In terms of strength, the insect demon was far inferior. Perhaps even a moonlit reflection wouldn't be able to defeat her. Seeing that Duan Chong cultivated a demonic art similar to the 8-Sha Azura art, Yi Chenfeng had a new understanding of her strength. However, Yi Chenfeng had obtained the low-grade holy artifact Golden Battle God from the Mirror Moon sect. Coupled with the indestructible sword puppet, Duan Chong couldn't threaten his life. Ling Yu, let's go. Yi Chenfeng didn't have any friendship with Duan Chong. Moreover, he had some misgivings about Duan Chong. While Duan Chong was devouring the death chi and blood chi to cultivate, he took Ling Yu and left Clear Gorge Town. Yi Chenfeng, we will meet again. Sensing Yi Chenfeng's departure, Duan Chong, who was crazily devouring the death chi and blood chi, opened her eyes and glanced at Yi Chenfeng's back. She muttered to herself and closed her eyes again. Ignoring the fearful gazes around her, she continued to cultivate her demonic art. Holy Thunder City, Dongfang family's old residence. Everyone who went to Clear Gorge Town died. Knowing that the masters who intercepted Yi Chenfeng's Ling Yu were all annihilated, Dongfang Bukong, the head of the Dongfang family and Nirvana's Dongfang Bukong, widened his eyes in shock. Who were those two people? Dongfang Bukong asked with a serious face. To be able to kill dozens of masters, including 2 Nirvana masters in one breath, they were definitely ruthless characters. Third Elder and Fourth Elder were not killed by those two people, but by the great evil Duan Chong. Dongfang family's informant reported. Great evil Duan Chong. Could it be that those two people were related to Duan Chong? Dongfang Bukong's eyes revealed deep misgivings. Although the Dongfang family's strength was extraordinary and ranked second among the 4 major families of Holy Thunder City, if they offended Duan Chong, it would definitely bring about a devastating disaster. All right, I know about this matter. You can leave now. Dongfang Bukong took a deep breath and said, remember, order people to block all news. Don't let anyone know what happened in Clear Gorge Town. Also, pass down my order. For a period of time, Dongfang family disciples are not allowed to leave Holy Thunder City at will. Yes, master. Dongfang family's informant obeyed. Not long after the informant left, he turned back and reported, Family head, we have the latest news. Duan Chong has already left, and the 2 people who injured the second young master have appeared outside the Holy Thunder City. According to our people's guess, they might not be familiar with Duan Chong. Duan Chang's killing spree may just be a coincidence. Coincidence? Dongfang Bukong's eyes twitched and said, whether it is a coincidence or not, these 2 people dare to step into Holy Thunder City at this time. I will let them die without a burial place. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the save at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1294. Holy Thunder City, the city at the center of the Lightning region. It was located at the source of the Lightning region's spirit veins and was the most famous city in the Lightning region. What a magnificent city! Yi Chenfeng and the spiritual fish flew for more than 2 hours. A huge city that covered an area of God knows how many miles, with tall and majestic city gates, towering pavilions and palaces in the city, surrounded by green mountains and a lake, came into their view. Yi Chenfeng had only seen one city of such a scale that encompassed everything. That was the Fire God City, controlled by the Heavenly Hall. What is that? When Yi Chenfeng arrived at the impregnable gates of Holy Thunder City, which were flickering with lightning, Yi Chenfeng saw a huge light wall that was almost the same size as Holy Thunder City standing outside the city. And on this wall of light, there were densely packed names. Some of these names were high, some were low, some were deep, and some were shallow. There were even some names that had been eroded by the passage of time and were already blurred. However, at the highest point of the wall of light, there was a vigorous and powerful name that could be clearly seen, as if it was a king. Lei Zifan, this wall of light should be the same as the Xingluo heavenly wall, where one's name was left on it based on strength. The higher one's strength was, the higher the name would be, and the clearer the name would be. Seeing Lei Zifan, Lei Zixin, and the others' names on the wall of light, Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself. However, as his strength increased, he was no longer interested in leaving his name. He had no intention of making a move. Instead, the Ling Yu's beautiful eyes were filled with interest, eager to give it a try. Anji, should we have a competition to see who can leave their name higher and clearer on the Holy Cliff? A tall and straight level 5 combat beast emperor, wearing a blue robe with long hair, draped over his shoulders, glanced at the St. Wall Cliff and said to an ordinary-looking level 5 combat beast emperor beside him. Her skin was very white. Her legs were long and powerful, and her body emitted a sharp sword intent. She was also a level 5 combat beast emperor. Let's compete then. The woman named Anji nodded. Her tall and slender body suddenly burst forth with a thick sword intent. Her entire person was like an unsheathed sword, piercing through the layers of air as she flew at an extremely fast speed towards the Holy Cliff. In the next moment, Anji's hands were like swords as they pointed towards the empty space on the cliff, and they forcefully pierced into the extremely hard cliff that was filled with powerful Dao insight as she carved her name. When Anji carved her name at the 60-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff, the blue-robed man also carved his name at the 60-foot mark. But his handwriting wasn't as clear as Anji's. Impressive, the two of them are only level 5 beast emperors, but they were able to carve their names 6 zhang away from the Holy Wall Cliff. Furthermore, the handwriting is so clear. I think they must be some big family's genius disciples who came out to gain experience. That's right. Just now, there was a level 6 beast emperor expert who only managed to carve his name at the 50-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff. Compared to the two of them, be it in terms of strength or talent, the gap between them is just too big. While the crowd surrounding the Holy Wall Cliff was discussing, a man who was not tall, but had an unusually burly body, dark skin, bright eyebrows, and big eyes, who was at the peak of level 5 Beast Emperor realm, suddenly stomped on the ground. A loud, muffled sound of thunder could be heard from the soles of his feet as he soared into the sky and rushed towards the top of the Holy Wall Cliff. 5 zhang, 6 zhang, 7 zhang. When he was about to reach the 80-foot mark, he was somewhat unable to withstand the pressure from the Holy Wall Cliff. He took a deep breath as the Tao diagram of thunder and the Tao diagram of darkness appeared behind him. He stretched out his finger that was filled with Tao insight and power and forcefully carved his name on the Holy Wall Cliff. Every time the Holy Wall Cliff was 10 feet higher, the difficulty of carving one's name would increase exponentially. However, this man was extremely talented and had extraordinary strength. Using the power of the 2 Tao diagrams, he still managed to carve his name at the 80-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff. However, the handwriting was a little shallow. Heavens, to leave one's name at the 80-foot mark of the Demi-Saint Cliff. It had been a long time since such a shocking genius had appeared. To be able to leave his name at the 80-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff as a level 5 Beast Emperor, this person would definitely be able to cultivate to the Nirvana realm in the future. There was even a possibility that he would become a Nirvana realm expert. Looking at the man whose dark face revealed a touch of paleness, almost everyone's gaze was attracted to him. Humph, what's so surprising about this height? While many people were exclaiming in surprise, the Ling Yu curled her lips and said indifferently, "Little girl, you might not know the difficulty of leaving your name at the Holy Wall Cliff." A slightly plump woman wearing an aqua-blue martial arts suit with many crow's feet at the corner of her eyes looked at the cute little face of the Ling Yu and said, "The Holy Wall Cliff is a mysterious Gu Dao treasure. It is incomparably hard and contains a powerful Dao insight. Those who can leave their name on it are all dragons and phoenixes among men. And that young master, just now, was able to leave his name at the 80-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff. It is enough to show that he is a genius among geniuses. His future achievements are limitless. AI, geniuses these days are really worthless." The Ling Yu sighed softly. "Little girl, hearing your tone, do you want to try the difficulty of leaving your name at the Holy Wall Cliff? With your age, If you can leave your name at the 30-foot mark, I will be convinced." Hearing the arrogant tone of the Ling Yu, a middle-aged man shook his head and said, "Brother Qingfeng, do you want to give it a try?" The interest in the Ling Yu's eyes became stronger as she looked at the silent Yi Qingfeng and asked, "I am not interested in leaving my name at the Holy Wall Cliff." Yi Qingfeng shook his head and said, "If you are interested, then give it a try." "Fine, then I will try." The Ling Yu revealed a pair of cute canine teeth and looked at the 30-foot high Holy Wall Cliff that was filled with a powerful Dao insight. She said, "I think the position next to Lei Zifan is not bad. I will leave my name next to him. Moreover, I will leave my name deeper than him." Hearing the Ling Yu's words, many people revealed a mocking smile. Some people even laughed out loud, mocking the Ling Yu's ignorance and fearlessness. As for the tall and sturdy man who had just left his name at the 80-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff, he revealed a look of contempt. If the Ling Yu wasn't so cute, he wouldn't have been able to stop himself from mocking her. It had to be known that 5 years ago, when Lei Zifan had left his name at the highest point of the Holy Wall Cliff, many geniuses had challenged his record. Apart from 2 people who had succeeded, the others had all failed. As for the 2 people who had left their names at the highest point of the Holy Wall Cliff, they had persisted for 3 days and 8 days before gradually disappearing. Thus, no one present believed that the cute and delicate Ling Yu, who was like a little princess, would be able to leave her name at the highest point of the Holy Wall Cliff and leave her name deeper than Lei Zifan's. "Brother Qingfeng, I will go carve my name." After saying that, the Ling Yu flew towards the Holy Wall Cliff. Resisting the increasingly powerful Dao insight pressure, she flew towards the peak of the Holy Wall Cliff. Hiss! When the Ling Yu flew to the 50-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff like a hot knife through butter, a series of gasps resounded from the bottom of the Holy Wall Cliff. At this time, the Ling Yu's body slightly trembled. She ignited her divine ape bloodline, and a phantom of a divine ape appeared behind her to increase her strength. She continued to fly towards the top of the Holy Wall Cliff. Heavens, am I dreaming? That little girl is only 90 feet away from the Holy Wall Cliff. How could her strength be so strong? I actually misjudged her. That little girl is a monster. Just when everyone was stunned by the scene before them, the Ling Yu that had stopped at the 90-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff ignited her true god bloodline and tore through the terrifying pressure to arrive at the top of the Holy Wall Cliff. In the next moment, a scene that stunned everyone appeared. The Ling Yu extended her chubby little hand and carved 3 words beside Lei Zifan's name. These 3 words were just like what she had said at the beginning. They were even deeper and clearer than Lei Zifan's name. Mobile reading website, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom of the page to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1295. Little cutie looking at the name carved by the spirit fish, the crowd was petrified. Other than being shocked, they were also speechless. "All right, have you played enough? Let's go into the city," Yi Qingfeng said softly as he looked at the smiling Ling Yu with her tender cheeks. "Play." Hearing Yi Qingfeng's words, the crowd was even more speechless. The sacred name carved on the cliff was like child's play in Yi Qingfeng's eyes. "Well, let's go into the city. Let's hope there is something fun in the city." The spirit fish nodded and followed Yi Qingfeng through the passageway that was automatically opened up by the crowd. They walked towards the bustling Holy Thunder City. So beautiful! This Holy Thunder City is so beautiful! Walking into Holy Thunder City, the spirit fish immediately fell in love with this place. She clamored for Yi Qingfeng to bring her to try the food here. Spirit fish, the food might have to wait. When Yi Qingfeng saw the 2 white-haired old men wearing black robes slowly walking towards them, his pupils constricted as he spoke in a low voice. "Damn it! How dare they ruin my mood? I won't forgive them." The spirit fish also noticed the abnormality. Grinding her teeth, she clenched her fists and said angrily, "Wait, don't fight first." Yi Qingfeng shook his head and said calmly, "Let's see what they want." "All right then." the spirit fish said angrily and followed Yi Chenfeng. The two of you, our Dongfang family head invites the two of you to come with us. A stout old man with a stern expression blocked Yi Chenfeng's group with his tall and sturdy body. Then, he spoke in a hoarse voice, using a commanding tone. Let's go. Yi Chenfeng looked at the two Nirvana experts and said lightly. They were surprisingly cooperative. Looking at Yi Chenfeng's calm expression, the two old men frowned and secretly sized up Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish. However, feeling the strength of Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish, they were relieved. One on the left and one on the right, they sealed off all possible escape routes and led them to the Dongfang family's old mansion. Your Dongfang clan really knows how to choose a place. The old house occupies the source of Spirit Vein in Holy Thunder City. From afar, Yi Chenfeng looked at the Dongfang clan's old mansion that was shrouded in a light array and filled with spirit energy. It occupied an area of dozens of miles and had lofty pavilions. Of course, the strength of our Dongfang clan is not something you can imagine, the two old men said with proud smiles on their faces. Is that so? Then let us see the true strength of your Dongfang family. I hope you don't disappoint me. Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly as he held onto the spirit fish's soft and smooth hand. Following a straight line of land, he walked towards the Dongfang family's old mansion with a calm expression. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's arrogant words, the two old men knitted their brows tightly together. They felt an inexplicable sense of uneasiness in their hearts and secretly became vigilant. Walking into the Dongfang clan's old residence, Yi Chenfeng immediately felt that the array formation enveloping the old residence had been activated. The entire Dongfang clan had become impregnable. However, he didn't care. The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and released a powerful soul force into the clan guarding Grand Array to deduce the real situation of this Grand Array. Patriarch, we've brought the two of them here. Walking into the main hall, Yi Chenfeng saw the black-robed Dongfang Bukong sitting in the main seat with a dense aura. He was looking at them with a cold gaze. On his left stood a bruised and battered man. This man was the one who had been taught a lesson by the spirit fish and had suffered a great loss. He was Dongfang Zhua, who had been beaten half to death. Where are the two of you from? Why did you bully my son and injure my Dongfang clan's disciples? Looking at the arrogant and calm Yi Chenfeng, Nangong Bukong frowned slightly. He wanted to figure out their identities before making a move. We don't have any sect or background, Yi Chenfeng said with his hands behind his back. Then you've cut ties with Great Xiong. Don't worry, we've only known her for a day. There's no friendship between us. Yi Chenfeng interrupted Nangong Bukong and slowly said, Who the hell are you? Looking at the indifferent and calm Yi Chenfeng, Dongfang Bukong smelled something unusual. Yi Chenfeng's performance was too calm, and the arrogance in his eyes showed that he didn't put him in his eyes at all. If I say I'm someone you can't afford to offend, would you believe me? Yi Chenfeng said with a smile. Damn it, you're about to die, and you still dare to be so stubborn. Lousy will skin you alive today. Dongfang Zhua stared at the fearless Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish with fire in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and roared, Two elders, break their legs for me. Make them kneel and talk to me. Yes, second young master. The two elders who escorted Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish here obeyed. The Tao power in their bodies burst out. One of them held a dark gold rod. The other held a snake-headed spear. They attacked Yi Chenfeng and the spirit fish from left and right, wanting to break their legs. Scram! The bloodline of the godly ape within Ling Yu's body was ignited. She stomped on the hard ground with one foot and blasted out two punches towards the two elders who had just converted to the Nirvana realm. The terrifying fist aura was like a roaring tide. It smashed two long weapons that were piercing towards her and forced the two elders to retreat. Seeing the spirit fish knock back the two elders of the Dongfang clan with two punches, Dongfang Bukong was shocked. He didn't expect the young spirit fish to have such terrifying combat power. She was able to fight against two powerful Nirvana cultivators. Spirit fish, your attack is too gentle. Yi Chenfeng's eyes flashed with a murderous light. His strength of more than 100 and 200 kilograms exploded. He stepped on the sword and appeared in front of the two elders of the Dongfang clan. He launched a thunderous attack at them. Vertigo technique Yi Qinfeng's soul power formed a terrifying vertigo power in his mind. It fiercely blasted into the two white-haired elders' soul seas, causing their reactions to slow down. In the next moment, the three diagrams of the Great Tao appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. He ignited his demonic god bloodline and combined the power of the three diagrams of the Great Tao. He punched towards the head of an elder. The terrifying fist aura tore through the elder's defenses as easily as crushing dry weeds. Under his horrified gaze, the fist aura landed on his head. Bang! The elder's head was like a blooming flower of blood. It exploded in the air and blood splattered everywhere. After killing a powerful nirvana cultivator with a single punch, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and turned into a light sword in the air. It was like a waterfall falling from a mortal world. It slashed at the elder who had summoned the Gu Dao treasure. Puff! Facing the bronze sword spirit's attack, the Gu Dao treasure summoned by the elder was sent flying. The terrifying sword aura blasted into his body and left a large number of sword spirits on the surface of his body. Stop! Dongfang Bukong didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so bold as to openly commit murder in the Dongfang clan. He was instantly enraged and roared loudly. However, Yi Qinfeng ignored him. The dragon spine sacred sword appeared in his hand. He stabbed out with a horizontal slash, drawing a white sword shadow in the hall that was filled with the smell of blood. The sword slashed the heavily injured elder in half, killing him on the spot. Blood splattered everywhere. The entire hall was silent. Mobile reading home, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1296. How dare you commit murder in my Dongfang old residence? Looking at the two corpses lying in a pool of blood, Dongfang Bukong was completely enraged. Dongfang Zhu was so scared that his face turned pale. He trembled and quickly retreated to Dongfang Bukong's side to seek protection. Don't talk big. A mere Dongfang family can't scare me. Yi Qinfeng took out a clean handkerchief and gently wiped the blood off the dragon spine sacred sword as he said indifferently, Fine, fine, fine. Let's see if you'll still be so stubborn. As he spoke, Dongfang Bukong summoned a multi-edged array disc. Through the array disc, he controlled a powerful killing formation hidden in the main hall and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. Rumble, the killing formation was activated. A thunderous roar immediately sounded from the formation. A large number of formation patterns gathered in the formation diagram that appeared. It was like heavenly lightning falling from the sky. Ancient map fragment, forbidden the thunder-like array pattern, surged over like flowing water. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the ancient map fragment and controlled the map fragment to restrict the space above Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish's head, defending against the attack of the offensive array pattern. In the next moment, an illusory light mirror with mysterious Tao patterns appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. This illusory light mirror was one of the few great sect treasures of the Mirror Moon sect. It was a quasi-sage treasure and was very powerful. Under the control of Yi Qinfeng's soul power, beams of powerful Tao light shot out and attacked the formation diagram above his head. Boom, boom, boom. Under the attack of the illusory light mirror, the formation diagram that Dongfang Bukong controlled with all his strength exploded with a deafening sound. The vibration force caused the entire hall to tremble. Damn it, where did these two come from? Seeing Yi Qinfeng's methods, Dongfang Bukong's brows tightly knitted together. He felt a little troubled. He kept increasing the power of the formation diagram. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish. Heaven-breaking hammer, break! While the Void Light Realm experts were attacking, the God-Eater brain was rapidly deducing and locking onto the weak point of the formation. It summoned the other treasure of the Mirror Moon sect that it had plundered, the sky-breaking hammer, and multitasking. It controlled the sky-breaking hammer to explode with destructive power, shattering the offensive formation patterns descending from the sky and ruthlessly bombarding the weak point. Kachach under the attack of the sky-shattering hammer, the formation diagram that had skyrocketed in power began to crack. The entire formation diagram became chaotic and unstable. Chi the Bronze Sword Soul once again transformed into a 3-meter-long light sword. Like a beam of light that streaked across the sky, it tore apart the formation that was riddled with cracks and destroyed the slaughtering formation hidden in the lobby. Impressive! Your Excellency's methods are truly astonishing. The array diagram that enveloped Yi Chunfeng and Yi Chunfeng disappeared, and Yi Chunfeng saw 2 similar-looking old men appear beside Dongfang Bukong. They were not tall, wore linen robes, and had turbid eyes that seemed to possess a demonic nature. Judging from the aura emitted by the 2 of them, they should be Nirvana realm almighty figures. Are they what the Dongfang family is relying on? They're too weak. Although they were all Nirvana realm powerhouses, Yi Chunfeng felt that the strength of the 2 supreme elders of the Dongfang clan was far inferior to that of the Mirror Moon sect's perfected martial sage Yu Hua and martial sage Shui Wei. Even compared to the insect demon, there is still a gap. Don't think that you can look down on the world just because you have some skills. Let me tell you, in the Dongfang family, even if you were a dragon, you have to coil up, and even if you were a tiger, you have to lie down. Dongfang Bukong's pupil shrank as he warned with a dark face. A bunch of frogs at the bottom of a well. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said calmly, "Today I will stand here and see how you're going to kill me. If you can't kill me, then don't blame me for destroying the Dongfang family with my own hands." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng slapped the beast-taming pouch. A large number of gold-devouring bugs flew out and surrounded him, and the spirit fished like layers of black walls. It made one's scalp tingle. Gold-devouring bugs. How did you get gold-devouring bugs? The insect demon's gold-devouring bugs were very famous in the Thunder region. Looking at the flapping wings and sharp teeth of the gold-devouring bugs, Dongfang Bukong and the others looked like they had seen a ghost. Could it be him? Suddenly, a name flashed across Dongfang Bukong's mind. A name that made him wary. A trace of uneasiness appeared on his chilling face. "You are the great evil Yi Chunfeng." As soon as Dongfang Bukong finished speaking, the 2 Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family also changed their expressions. Recently, news of Yi Chunfeng's deeds had spread like wildfire. Furthermore, his methods of covering the sky with one hand, sweeping through the Mirror Moon sect, and continuously killing Earth Realm, Nirvana Realm powerhouses shocked the entire Thunder domain. And he had been labeled as a dangerous person by some family forces. He was even more dangerous than the heartbroken Green Robe. "You guys talk too much. If you don't make a move, don't blame me for not giving you a chance." As he spoke, the sword puppet and golden battle god split out of his body and released a terrifying power. They locked onto the 2 mainstays of the Dongfang family, the Grand Supreme Elders of Nirvana. Wait a minute. Looking at the sword puppet and golden battle god, Dongfang Bukong was completely sure of Yi Chunfeng's identity. He quickly shouted, "Do you have any last words?" Yi Chunfeng coldly said, "Young Master Yi, this time my Dongfang family was in the wrong. But we have no intention of offending you. So please be magnanimous and spare us. We are willing to give you 100 million top-grade soul crystals as compensation to appease your anger." Thinking of Yi Chunfeng's fierce reputation and the fate of the Mirror Moon sect, Dongfang Bukong had no choice but to lower his noble head and admit defeat. As for the 2 Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family, they didn't have the same momentum as before. Deep fear appeared in their turbid eyes. "I have plenty of top-grade soul crystals, I don't need them." Yi Chunfeng shook his head. "Then what does young master want?" Dongfang Bukong gritted his teeth and said he had no choice. He really didn't want to have a direct confrontation with the fierce Yi Chunfeng. His heart was filled with regret. He regretted that he didn't investigate Yi Chunfeng's identity before blindly attacking him. He even had the urge to strangle Dongfang Zhuo to death. If he didn't cause trouble, the Dongfang family wouldn't have provoked such a powerful enemy for no reason. 30 mid-grade heaven crystals. I'll leave immediately after I get them, Yi Feng said lightly. Young Master Yi, mid-grade heaven crystals are too rare and precious. My Dongfang family doesn't have that many. Dongfang Bukong said awkwardly. My Dongfang family only has 10 mid-grade heaven crystals. 20, one less, and I'll kill one of your Nirvana powerhouses. If I kill all of Nirvana, I'll start with the two of them, Yi Feng said coldly. You, having lived for tens of thousands of years, the two Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family had never suffered such humiliation. They were so angry that their bodies trembled. But when they saw the sword puppet and the golden god of war, they lost the courage to attack. All right, my patience is limited. If I don't see 20 mid-grade heaven crystals in 2 hours, don't blame me for starting a massacre, Yi Feng warned coldly. All right, young master, please wait for a moment. I'll go gather the mid-grade heaven crystals now. The thought of asking for help from the Thunder Clan flashed through Dongfang Bukong's mind. But when he thought of Yi Feng's methods, he didn't dare to take the risk. After thinking about it, he could only obediently agree to Yi Feng's request to gather 20 precious mid-grade heaven crystals. However, when Dongfang Bukong walked out of the main hall that was filled with the smell of blood and was filled with cracks, and ordered the experts of the Dongfang family who had gathered outside the main hall after hearing the commotion to leave, a man who was as tall and straight as a steel spear, wearing a dark blue robe, and with an extraordinary bearing, slowly walked in, accompanied by a white-haired old man and a woman who was boldly dressed, had a graceful figure, and had light makeup on her charming face, revealing snow-white skin and slender legs. Seeing this man, Dongfang Bukong showed a trace of surprise and quickly walked up to him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1297. Dongfang Family Head, what happened? Who is causing trouble in the Dongfang family? Why did you activate the sect protecting array? Lei Zishan, who was wearing a dark blue robe and had a trace of arrogance on his face, came in front of Dongfang Bukong and asked loudly. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test. This Dongfang Bukong was deliberately hesitating. Dongfang family head, with young Master Shen here, what are you afraid of? No matter how powerful that person is, he can't be more powerful than young Master Shen. Dongfang Jiao, who was dressed boldly and had a hot figure, stood beside Lei Zishan and said confidently. Lei Zishan was the son of the Thunder Clan's great elder, Lei Chun. However, compared to Lei Zifan, Lei Zishan was far inferior in terms of talent and strength. However, with Lei Chun as a big tree, very few people in the Thunder region offended him, causing him to be arrogant. Because Lei Chun was very close to the Dongfang family, Lei Zishan and Dongfang Bukong had a good relationship. Dongfang Bukong also intended to marry his daughter to Lei Zishan as a concubine. Dongfang family head, since there are guests, let them in. Sensing the sudden visit of Lei Zishan and the rest, Yi Feng, who was sitting peacefully on the chair in the main hall, said slowly. His deep voice rang in the ears of Lei Zishan and the rest. Damn, he's even crazier than me. Lei Zishan's face darkened. He brought the white-haired old man and the hot girl into the main hall angrily. Seeing the anger on Lei Zishan's face, Dongfang Bukong was secretly happy. He hoped that Yi Feng would have a direct confrontation with Lei Zishan and take the opportunity to involve the Thunder Clan. That way, the crisis of the Dongfang family might be resolved. Ancient map fragment, forbidden when Lei Zishan and the rest angrily barged in. Yi Feng immediately controlled the ancient map fragment to seal the entire main hall. Seeing Yi Feng's action, Dongfang Bukong's heart jumped and felt uneasy. However, Lei Zishan revealed a strong anger. Damn, you have big guts. Don't tell me you want to harm me. Lei Zishan did not know Yi Feng. Looking at Yi Feng, who was leaning on the chair with a sharp gaze, he said angrily, You're from the Thunder Clan. Yi Chunfeng gently tapped the armrest of the armrest as he spoke indifferently. That's right. Revealing a proud and aloof expression, Lei Zishan said, if you know what's good for you, cripple your own cultivation base, kneel down and beg for mercy. Perhaps I am in a good mood and will spare your life. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said in disdain, I didn't expect that the Thunder Tribe would produce such a trash like you. What a disgrace to the Thunder Tribe. Bold when the fiery woman heard Yi Chunfeng insult Lei Zishan in front of everyone. Her charming eyes revealed a thick killing intent. A thunder Tao diagram appeared on her body, and under her control, it turned into a giant thunderblade. It brought along a deafening sound of thunder as it slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Whoosh, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Chunfeng's soul sea and turned into a divine sword that could slash the heavens and split the earth. The sword swept through the air and shocked the immortals. It directly shattered the giant lightning blade formed by the thunder diagram. Under the horrified gaze of the hot woman, it slashed forward. The fiery woman was only a level 5 beast emperor, so she was unable to dodge the bronze sword spirit's attack. Before the white-haired old man from Nirvana could come to her rescue, the bronze sword spirit slashed her body into 2 halves, killing her on the spot. Bronze sword spirit, who are you? The white-haired old man did not expect Yi Chunfeng to kill someone just because of a disagreement. His expression changed as he stood in front of Lei Zishan to protect him. He looked at him with a serious gaze and asked loudly, Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng withdrew the bronze sword spirit and said indifferently, Great calamity, Yi Chunfeng, you actually came to Holy Thunder City? The white-haired old man and Lei Zishan's pupils shrank, revealing a look of apprehension. Lei Zishan even secretly touched the communication pearl hidden at his waist. If I were you, I wouldn't think of using the communication pearl to send a message. That would only make you die faster. How strong was Yi Chunfeng's soul? He caught Lei Zishan's small movements and warned him coldly. Yi Chunfeng, I'm warning you. Although your methods are ruthless, this is Holy Thunder City, the headquarters of the Thunder Tribe. If you dare to harm me, I'll pop. Before he finished speaking, Lei Zishan suddenly saw a blur in front of him. Yi Chunfeng, who was supposed to be sitting on the chair, suddenly appeared in front of him. He stepped on the sword diagram and forced the white-haired old man to retreat. With a slap, he sent the old man flying and heavily crashed into the restriction wall. I'm beating you now. What can you do about it? Yi Chunfeng said indifferently with his hands behind his back. He looked at Lei Zishan, whose cheeks were caved in and blood was flowing out of his mouth. Dongfang family head, kill him for me. If you kill him, I'll agree to whatever you want. A sense of humiliation that he had never experienced before surged into his soul sea. Lei Zishan covered his bleeding mouth and ordered angrily, Do you think they dare to attack me? Yi Chunfeng said with disdain, Also, even if I massacre the Dongfang family, the Thunder Tribe won't do anything to me. Bullshit. Why will my Thunder Tribe be afraid of you? Lei Zishan glared at Yi Chunfeng with bloodshot eyes. If you don't believe me, then let's make a bet. Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. However, in Dongfang Bukong's eyes, it was like the smile of a death god. Large amounts of sweat appeared on his forehead. Young Master Yi, my Dongfang family has no intention of offending you. Please don't use my Dongfang family as a wager. Dongfang Bukong thought of the rumors that Yi Chunfeng had a terrifying background that even made the Thunder Tribe apprehensive. He didn't dare to take the risk and quickly said, Good. Yi Chunfeng, you have guts. Let's wait and see. Lei Zishan said with gritted teeth. Without the help of the Dongfang family, Lei Zishan knew that he couldn't do anything to Yi Chunfeng. He left behind a ruthless sentence and was about to leave. Go. Did I say you can go? Yi Chunfeng revealed a cold smile. The sword puppet and golden battle god split out of his body again and locked onto Lei Zishan and the white-haired old man. What do you want? Aren't you afraid of my Thunder Tribe's revenge? Feeling the killing intent emitted by the sword puppet and golden battle god, Lei Zishan felt a trace of fear in his heart. He gulped and braced himself. Do you think I'm afraid? Yi Chunfeng smiled and walked with heavy steps towards Lei Zishan, whose expression changed slightly. The fear in his heart was growing stronger. Young Master Yi, my Thunder Tribe has no intention of being enemies with you. Please give face to the Thunder Tribe and don't make things difficult for our young Master Zishan. The white-haired old man took a deep breath and stood in front of Yi Qinfeng. You don't have the qualifications to plead for him. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said coldly, Dongfang family head, what are you waiting for? If something happens to me in your Dongfang family, my father will definitely not let you off. When he met Yi Qinfeng's cold eyes, Lei Zishan, who felt a chill down his spine, shouted at the hesitant Dongfang Bukong. If it was anyone else, Dongfang Bukong would definitely take the huge risk to help Lei Zishan. However, Yi Qinfeng's fierce reputation made him feel apprehensive. Young Master Zishan, leave quickly. The white-haired old man gritted his teeth and suddenly burned his powerful bloodline and blood qi. He raised his strength to the peak and attacked Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to use his own strength to buy time for Lei Zishan to escape. Chi-Chi. The moment the white-haired old man attacked, the sword puppet and golden battle god attacked him at the same time. The shocking sword light and golden fist light sealed all the space around him and ruthlessly bombarded his body. As they tore through space, they directly shattered him and killed him. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng used his sword steps and flew past the rising blood qi in the air. He appeared beside Lei Zishan, who was pale with fright and was desperately attacking the restrictions on the remnant map. Die! Sensing Yi Qinfeng's approach, Lei Zishan stimulated all the potential in his body. He rushed at Yi Qinfeng and sent a palm strike flashing with lightning, trying to force him back. However, the difference in strength between them was too great. Yi Qinfeng used his body, which was comparable to an ancient Dao artifact, to take Lei Zishan's palm strike head-on. His palm, which was filled with terrifying power, ruthlessly smashed into Lei Zishan's head. The palm strike knocked him to the ground, and he fainted with blood flowing out of his 7 orifices. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1298. Young Master Yi. Lei Zishan is the son of the Thunder Clan's great elder Lei Chun, and Lei Chun has a very high position in the Thunder Clan. He is currently the second most powerful person in the Thunder Clan. You must not kill Lei Zishan, or you will definitely cause a disaster. Looking at the unconscious Lei Zishan, Dongfang Bukong hurriedly advised. He was afraid that Yi Qinfeng would kill him, and the Dongfang clan would also suffer. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. I know he is Lei Chen's son, Yi Qinfeng said faintly. He took out several black pills and said, If you don't want to be killed by me, then take these black pills. Otherwise, don't blame me for cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots. Young Master Yi, aren't you going too far? If you force us to take the poison, then we can only fight back. When the masters of the Thunder Clan are attracted, I'm afraid it will be disadvantageous for you. The great elder of the Dongfang clan resisted. If they took the poison in Yi Qinfeng's hand, then it was equivalent to their fate being controlled by Yi Qinfeng. They were unwilling. You don't have a right to bargain with me. Whoever doesn't take the poison in my hand, I will kill him. Yi Qinfeng revealed his domineering side and said without allowing any resistance. You. The 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan were enraged by Yi Qinfeng's arrogance. They hesitated whether they should directly attack Yi Qinfeng. While they were hesitating, Yi Qinfeng took out the Saint Perishing Pearl. It was that pearl. The news of Yi Qinfeng sweeping through the Mirror Moon sect had caused an uproar. There were rumors that Yi Qinfeng and the others were able to kill the 2 masters of Nirvana, including the 2 great masters of the Mirror Moon sect, because of the Saint Perishing Pearl. So when the 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan saw the Saint Perishing Pearl in Yi Qinfeng's hand, their expressions changed at the same time. Whoosh whoosh, 2 ear-piercing sounds broke through the air. When the 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan revealed a look of fear, the sword puppet and golden battle god attacked them from the left and right. They exploded with shocking power, completely suppressing their offensive. Young Master Yi, my Dongfang clan has no intention to be your enemy. Please be magnanimous and let us go. Dongfang Bukong saw the two supreme elders being suppressed in the blink of an eye. The Saint Destruction Pearl in Yi Chenfeng's hand made him smell the scent of death. He had no choice but to beg for mercy. If you eat the poison in my hand, I will let you go. If you don't, then go to hell, Yi Chenfeng said coldly. Young Master Yi wants to secretly control my Dongfang clan. Dongfang Bukong said through gritted teeth. Under the threat of death, he was unable to summon up the courage to kill Yi Chenfeng at all costs. I have no interest in controlling you. When I leave Holy Thunder City, I will give you the antidote and return you your freedom. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, Really? Dongfang Bukong's eyes lit up. Although he was unwilling to be controlled by Yi Chenfeng, if it was only for a short period of time, he could still accept it. Do you think the Dongfang clan is worthy of my control? Yi Chenfeng said bluntly. All right, I believe that young Master Yi is a man of his word. Although Yi Chenfeng's words made Dongfang Bukong quite angry, when he thought of Yi Chenfeng's strength and his suspected terrifying background, Dongfang Bukong suddenly had a thought that following Yi Chenfeng was not a bad choice. After making the decision, Dongfang Bukong immediately sent a sound transmission to the two supreme elders who were at an absolute disadvantage. In the end, under Yi Chenfeng's intimidation, Dongfang Bukong and the others surrendered and took the poison pill in Yi Chenfeng's hand. Remember, keep your mouth shut about what happened today. Moreover, don't let your clan members speak carelessly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless to your Dongfang clan. Yi Chenfeng warned coldly. Don't worry, young Master Yi, we know what to do. After taking the poison pill, Dongfang Bukong and the others immediately felt a slow-acting poison that ignored the barrier of Dao power, slowly invading their bodies. They sighed helplessly and promised. All right, you guys clean this place up. If the Thunder Clan members ask about Lei Zixin, just give them a random reason to dismiss them. After speaking, Yi Chenfeng came to the unconscious Lei Zixin and put him into the Qinquan realm. Space treasure seeing Lei Zixin's strange disappearance. Dongfang Bukong and the others immediately guessed that Yi Chenfeng possessed a spatial treasure. They became even more fearful of him. They immediately went to the storehouse and gave Yi Chenfeng the 21 medial grade heavenly crystals they had collected. Brother Qingfeng, aren't you afraid that they will ask for help from the Thunder Clan if we go ahead? After leaving the Dongfang clan's old mansion, Ling Yu said worriedly. Don't worry, Dongfang Bukong is not a fool. Before they get rid of the poison in their bodies, they won't dare to offend us and ask for help from the Thunder Clan. Even if they do, I'm not afraid. This time, I'm here to turn the Thunder Clan upside down. Yi Chenfeng said slowly, Let's go. Let's find a place to stay first. Holy Thunder City was too big, and there were inns everywhere. Soon, Yi Chenfeng and Ling Yu found a beautiful inn built beside a quiet lake. They rented 2 rooms by the lake to rest. After entering the room, Yi Chenfeng laid down a soundproof restriction in the room. With a thought, he entered the universe realm. At this time, Lei Zixin, who was knocked unconscious by his palm, woke up. When he saw the unfamiliar surroundings, his face turned pale with fear. You're awake. A cold voice entered Lei Zixin's ears. Yi Chenfeng walked towards him with steady steps. Yi Chenfeng, I advise you to let me go, or else. Before Lei Zixin could finish his threat, Yi Chenfeng raised his hand and slapped him, sending him flying. He fell heavily onto the ground and said, You talk too much nonsense. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll pull out your tongue. What do you want to let me go? Lei Zixin was really scared. He stood up shakily and asked fearfully, That depends on whether you are valuable or not. I won't keep a useless person by my side. Yi Chenfeng said coldly. He appeared behind Lei Zixin in a flash and warned him coldly, If you don't want to die, don't move. Otherwise, I'll break your neck. After speaking, Yi Chenfeng pressed his right hand on Lei Zixin's head and used the power of the God-Eater brain to search Lei Zixin's soul. Lei Zixin was scared by Yi Chenfeng's ruthless methods. Surprisingly, he cooperated and stayed motionless, allowing Yi Chenfeng to search his soul and retrieve the memories in his mind. Is your father really going to work with the old patriarch of the Lei clan to oust the current patriarch? After obtaining Lei Zishan's soul memories, Yi Chunfeng asked with a serious expression, revealing a pleasantly surprised expression. It's not that my father wants to usurp the throne, but the old patriarch was not willing to be replaced by Lei Zhongtong. He secretly worked with my father to take back everything that should have belonged to him. After Yi Chunfeng found out the secret in the Soul Sea, Lei Zishan threw caution to the wind and begged Yi Chunfeng to spare his life. The Lei clan was not as peaceful as it seemed. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself, Lei Zishan, your life is safe for now. As long as you help me with one more thing, I'll let you go. What is it? Lei Zishan's eyes were filled with despair as he hurriedly asked. You'll know when the time comes. For the time being, I'll have to trouble you to stay here. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng, who accidentally obtained important information, left the universe realm and returned to the room. He took out the ancient map fragment and used the power of the God-Eater brain to repair it. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.